He had 2 diapers. Allegedly. Back to baby. Who I'm legally allowed to have.
Like how?
She's like, don't come into my room. What's the next topic?
Turtle talk.
Yeah, turtle talk. This is a separate segment, okay? Like, we just have different segments. And then the guy was super insulted. He should be.
Like,
I have a problem delegating. So, as you can tell.
but right, yeah, you don't let people touch your face or slap you.
This is
Podcast.
all pain, all gain. This is not no pain, no gain or whatever crap other podcasts are there. This is all pain, all gain. You're going to get things in your face. It's going to be harsh. It's going to be ugly.
That's not good.
Yeah.
That is not good at all. Also, like, you have a catalog of stuff. If you need to explain something to
Here,
people,
watch
you can
this
just
video.
like, what's this reel here?
I actually did this at once.
Really? Do you feel like you're good at dealing with those situations?
Good question.
Everything is lined up, and then you go ahead and pick it up on the day?
Topic 1.
Yeah, topic 1. Yeah, we
All
could-
pain, all gain. What is that even about and why we...
all pain, all gain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a conversation about this. But
Is it recording already?
yes.
Oh, lol.
Oh, love.
Yeah. You know, it says lol out loud, but when you're not actually laughing on the floor, then you lol, right?
Exactly. Well, I think it was like we were preparing for a shoot, for a client shoot. We were walking all over Samshepo together,
Yeah.
and you're like asking me like, why do you have a giant backpack on your back?
Yeah.
And
I said, why do you always carry that backpack?
yeah, because I always do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel.
And then you said all pain, all... No. What did you say?
Yeah.
You said all pain, all gain. I think that's what you said. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I need to feel like if I don't feel guilty over something, I need to have some sort of a burden.
Okay.
So like I my chosen burden is a camera that I might need, but I never ever need.
Okay. It's not just a
spontaneously.
camera in there.
No.
Yeah.
It's like a
your
full-
laptop.
Full
It's,
laptop.
Yeah, it's batteries. It's
Microphones.
like exactly. For what context?
2 cameras, extra lens.
Why?
Because I need to be ready at any given moment for anything, even though I
Have you?
literally.
Okay, has this ever happened?
Never.
Okay.
Never.
There you go. There's your answer.
I
And
think-
I'm the complete opposite. I carry as little as possible. Today I have a backpack, but in most cases I have like the smallest possible purse that I can carry.
I think your approach is slightly more smart. I think I'm gonna have back problems at some point.
But
and
you don't,
won't.
and I do.
You have back
I
problems.
do.
Do you sleep on your stomach?
I do.
Okay, I think that might be a part of your back problem.
Okay.
Because I literally fell asleep on my stomach and I woke up in back pain, but I was so tired I decided I was too lazy to turn around. I woke up in the morning after and I've had pain in my back for a year now.
Really?
Yeah.
Just from one time? I'll teach you one yoga thing later.
Okay. So you like it's in your lower back or where is it?
Oh, everywhere. I get back pain like all the time. Like even
Okay.
just carrying a camera gives me back pain. Because sometimes when I'm taking pictures, I don't like using tripod. That's my number one. I hate using tripod.
Right there with you.
So I will put myself in situations that I don't need to just because I prefer not to. I want the flexibility to be able to just do whatever like when I need to. So sometimes I'm like crouching over like, you know, whatever I'm shooting just to get that angle and then it affects my back.
Okay.
But then now I do this particular one yoga exercise, just one, after like I get home. And then I don't have this problem anymore after I shoot.
I need to learn this move. After,
show-
like, please don't forget. I need
Yeah,
to
I'll do
learn
it
how
on the
to do
floor
this.
and show it to you.
Please.
Yeah.
Yes, I need this exercise. My back is not great.
Yeah, but my back is bad because you can see my posture is actually like, because I think I don't have back muscle. And then because I carry all the weight in the front all the time, that my chest muscles are pulling my back muscles forward. And so I always have this hunched thing. And then
okay.
always on the computer and always like, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm always at the chiropractor.
I see.
Yeah.
I think I used to have the similar problem. I used to do like a lot of weightlifting when I was a teen,
Okay.
and everyone kept asking like, "How much do you bench?" So I just benched a lot.
Yeah.
So my chest was like really over. So I had always had like
Or you couldn't.
This
You're one
posture.
of those that you couldn't put your arms down.
no.
you're-
I like some people walk
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this.
yeah.
I tried to like like
put it down.
yeah, because I like to be like I like to have not imposing body posture, I like to be small, but like ridiculously strong.
No,
Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like sleeper
That's
cars.
me. You're just talking about me. I may not look it, but I can lift this mic.
But you're turtle strong.
I'm turtle strong. Yes, we must explain this to people. We're turtle strong.
So we have a thing we send each other, like all kinds of memes.
Yeah.
You sent me parrot things, and I sent you turtle things. I sent you a turtle,
Just
soft shell
animal
turtle
related.
that
Yeah.
was like literally just ripping open a door
Yeah.
in a house. Like
Yeah.
this tiny turtle. and
Yep,
you're-
that's impressive because soft shell turtles get injured very easily because their shells made of skin.
Right.
So if you put them in a tank with like other fish that have teeth, like even slight teeth, they will get infections from having their skin damaged. So, that soft shell turtle pushing open a door is actually dangerous for it. But it's I'm not surprised by the strength because I have a turtle. She's like this small, okay? She's like this tiny. She's a river turtle. And she can shove things. Like she can shove suitcases that are full. Like she'll go behind it and push it and that's it. She can shove. She can shove absolutely, except the sofa. I think she hasn't managed to shove that. But she's able to shove a lot of things.
So
Even the vet says she's sexy and strong. So it's approved.
it's medically confirmed.
Yeah, because also her shell is like abnormally thick. She's thick. Her shell. I don't think anyone's interested. I don't think anyone watching is will give a rat's ass about my turtle.
If you have all these clips of the turtle doing all these
I'll put it
amazing
on her
things.
Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
So she has an extra thick shell, okay? Because some river turtles, if they submerge underwater for long periods of time, their shell becomes thin.
Okay.
So so they usually bask a lot, on rocks, in the sun and stuff. You'll always see them when you go in the park, sitting on rocks, right? And they sit on top of each other and they're not friendly with each other. That's a mistake. They do not like each other. They're territorial. They will fight each other, but they will, compromise if they need to. If there's only one rock and they all have to share. But so my turtle, we had another turtle. She bullied that turtle to death. That's what they do because they're territorial.
To death?
To death. So that one couldn't eat because it was scared of her. So it wouldn't come out to eat when she's eating, which means it had nothing left over. Because we didn't realize that they do this territorial thing. And then if she's basking, the other one can't bask. She will not allow it. She will just scare it and intimidate it off. And so it died because the shell became thin because it was underwater for way too long.
Oh, no.
And I didn't know because I was this kid who never had a turtle before. Yeah, and they share different same species. Certain species will share infections when they're small, and then they carry salmonella to a certain age. You don't know these things because here you buy turtles they just sell you a tiny one for $10 and that's it. And they know the turtle's gonna die, and then you're gonna come back and get another one. So it's basically this theory, right? But I'm not like that. So I was why is this happening? I try to save all of them. Baby was the only one left, and she basically, because she was killing the other ones indirectly, and then I was but she's got an extra thick shell. She's submerged for a very long time and nothing happens to her. And I'm but she's damn heavy, and she's you can feel the shell difference. So I was is she okay? She can't swim because she's too heavy to swim. So
she's too dense. She doesn't float.
So she doesn't float. She can't float.
Wow.
I think at one point she did float, but then it was hard for her to swim. She doesn't swim. She just walks.
Okay.
Everywhere, but she's fine. She's healthy. The vet said she's sexy and healthy.
From bullying another turtle to death.
That's what they do.
Wow.
That's what they do. And I have a whole other story about why I hate vets, but the vet who said she was sexy, we like him.
That's a good vet.
We like him, yeah.
Yeah. Does it the same vet? Did he help you also with Pidgey or?
No, they don't allow the pigeons are. I can go to jail.
Oh, okay, let's not talk about that.
I'm a criminal. I rescue pigeons.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly
rescue pigeons.
Yeah.
No, I'm very public about it, but allegedly. Allegedly. So no, vets were not going to see him. I did ask the vet, an exotic vet, because turtles are part of the exotic species here for some reason. But then I did ask, and they were like, sorry, no, we will not see him because he's a pigeon.
He's not considered a pet.
Yeah. He's not considered wildlife either because they're feral. So they're not part of the wildlife rescue here. If you call SPCA, they will just put them down because they're not. Yeah. Which is why we had to keep him because the SPCA lady actually told us to our face. She was like, well, if I take him, he's healthy. He's just a baby and he just fell down his nest for whatever reason. But if you take him, he'll survive. And if I take him, he's dead tomorrow. So
That was actually kind of nice of her to do that.
yeah,
to be honest,
she did. Yeah, she did. She
That
was
was
nice.
kind.
Yeah. So which is why we said fine. I mean, even though it's not allowed for us to take him, we will take him. And then he was with us for 2 years.
Nice.
Yeah, but then whenever he got some sort of sickness or something that, we could tell he was not well, we just had to figure it out. But there is allegedly a pigeon rescue group here that people allegedly support each other with all pigeon matters. That if for other people who rescue doves and pigeons.
I see. A private group.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah, it might not exist.
But you heard about this. Maybe existing.
Yeah, may.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. And I may be part of it, allegedly. So it's nice to know that there's other people out there allegedly doing the same thing.
I was very privileged to allegedly meet pigeons.
Yeah. He was cute, allegedly.
He's a really cool guy, like in a diaper. Like the coolest diaper I've ever seen, allegedly.
Yeah. He had 2 diapers, allegedly. But yes, back to baby, who I'm legally allowed to have.
Let's stick to that.
Yeah.
So she's called Baby.
Baby. Yes, the vets have her named down as Baby. Like, they don't have my name. They, like, when you call to book an appointment, they're like, Baby's mom. Like, it's really cute. It's nice to have, like, people acknowledge your child's name,
So they, like, ask for the name and the species.
Yeah. And the age and whatever, so, like, they can identify her.
She can go really old. She's going to outlive everyone, right?
No, 40 to 50 years.
Oh, okay.
River turtles, yeah.
Oh,
So
okay, I see.
Maybe we'll die together. That's the goal.
Oh my goodness.
I cradle her and we'll just die together.
Well, if like by the things you've told me, she will be like butt out in a plastic cave when she passes, probably.
Yeah.
In a way too small of a cave. Is she still growing?
No. So they stop their growth actually. It depends on how big of a tank you give them when they're small. So if they don't have the right size tank, they will just not grow any bigger. She has grown to a decent size. I think that is her very close to full size. I don't think she's going to grow anymore, even though now her tank is huge because we just moved her to a new tank. I don't think she's going to grow. But yeah, we don't know. We'll
She's
see.
an adult by this
She's
point.
12, yeah.
Yeah. So that's adult.
Yeah, adult, yeah. Yeah,
Cool,
but
cool.
she has eggs and everything, so she's a woman, but she's 12. To me, she's 12. Yeah, and the 12-year-old age is like, they act up at 12. It's not just me, it's other people's turtles that I know too, who are 12.
Okay.
And both those said turtles have started acting up.
She's actively rebelling.
Yeah.
Like how?
She's like, don't come into my room. Which is her tank. Like, if I come in, she bit me today. Not hard, because I don't have any, it was on my thumb. Like, she didn't bite me hard, but it was more like
a warning. Like,
yeah, I'm here. Get out of my room, Mom. Like, seriously?
Your LA girl, your California accent is so on point.
Thanks. If there's any casting directors watching, if you need a brown LA girl.
We have it in Hong Kong.
Yeah, you can fly me over. I'll do it. Shall perform. But yeah, so she's a rebellious child right now. But it's okay. It's a phase. It'll pass.
You're on for the whole ride.
Yeah,
You'll
what to
accept
do?
Whatever.
Yeah, I'll just try to see what we can do to make it less annoying, But she's in a phase where it's like, don't play with me. You will be bitten. You will die.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a lonely phase for you as a parent.
Yeah. And Krishna is the other mother. So she's just like an extra mother that she has, Like, I don't acknowledge her as an equal mother to myself.
Is Krishna also in the doghouse? Is he also getting bitten?
Oh, all of us have. If you let her bite you, she will bite you. Like, she will, yeah. I wasn't looking, and my hand was in there because I was cleaning a tank, and then I was bitten. But then it was okay, it's not so bad. I don't have any. Like, they can bite the bone off you because they eat cuttlefish bone, like, as casually. Right. So they can if they want to.
So this was a warning.
She knows us. So I think maybe she's just playing. I don't know. But it was like, she doesn't normally bite people. So anyways. That's my pet.
Baby.
baby. Her name should just be adolescent now because she's 12. She gets renamed as she then adult at one point after 18.
So have you discussed what her adolescent name will be?
Adolescent, because her baby name was baby.
So she's going to be an adolescent at what point?
She's teen, right? She'll become teen at 13.
Okay, so next year she's going to be adolescent.
Her name will just be teen, yeah, or adolescent. And then when she's 18, she's adult. The baby's gone. It's just adult.
That's so funny. That's hilarious.
I might not do it. Baby's cute. And she knows her name. So if I start calling her teen or adolescent, she'll be like, what are you talking about?
So she reacts when you call her name?
She knows her name, yeah, she knows. Because we use a different tone when we talk to her.
Okay.
Don't make me do it.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Yeah. I saw it in your eyes. I was like, don't make me do it.
My eyes
Yeah. Perform.
I need to hide the microphone.
It's a high pitch. Okay, I'm just going to say it's a high pitch, much higher pitch than what I'm using right now.
Oh, I think I understand.
Yeah.
It's how you talk to kids. How you talk to
yeah, but it's a little more annoying. And because they only hear vibration. So we started talking to her with a high pitch just when we talk to her or about her. Or if we're talking as if she's talking on behalf of, a situation.
So she knows when she's being spoken to, just by the tone.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then she will wake up from her sleep if she's sleeping. And if I say her name in that tone, she will wake up because she knows.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, or she will react to things when you use that tone. But sometimes she will ignore you.
So turtles, she's smart, right?
I think they are quite smart. And they're actually quite playful. If you spend time with them. Yeah.
We should have called this podcast something other than
all pain, all gain. Yeah, this is not... Oh, all pain, all gain because you get bitten when you have turtles. So it is painful to have them.
Very, very true.
Yeah.
Turtle talk.
Yeah, turtle talk. It's a separate segment, okay? We just have different segments.
No, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
I don't know much about turtles.
So now you do.
I know a lot about turtles now.
Yeah, and you know about the strength of the turtle.
Yeah, turtle strength. Turtle strong.
Turtle strong, yeah, and that's a benefit. You should know, not benefit. What do you call? Compliment. So if someone calls you turtle strong, you should be like, thanks.
That sounds like an insult, like a complicated insult, but it's not.
It's not. They're not actually dissing you. They're actually saying you're damn strong because these turtles are buff. They're constantly in a push-up. If you think about it.
That is true.
And to get up on stuff, they need a full-on push-up.
Right. And they're heavy.
They're
proportionately.
Heavy. Yeah. With the shell and everything.
The armor. Yeah.
So their arms are my turtle has guns. If I touch her arms, you can feel, you can see the shape and you can feel the muscle. Next time you come over, I will show you. I'll make you touch her.
Baby's muscles.
Yeah. Full on, proper. You will be intimidated.
Just veins on her arms.
You can't see the veins. Because there's scales, so you can't see the veins.
Ah, okay. Underneath the armor.
Yes.
Okay.
She's full on, guns out every day. Yeah. What's the next topic?
Yeah. Very, how do we transition from this?
Okay, so I know a story about turtles also, okay? But it helps to transition to something else maybe.
Okay.
So I did, I was obviously part of a shoot where I was I was acting for a series. And one of the locations that we went on in Hong Kong, they have, because people keep turtles as luck here, right? It's just a good luck thing. So they had I don't know, 50 million cats inside their studio. And then when I went to the toilet, there were 2 turtles in the toilet, kept in tiny tanks, super tiny tanks that were filled with moss and fungus. Oh. And they were stacked on top of each other. Oh, no. And then I looked at the turtles and I was like, I can't leave them like that. I felt really bad because I have a turtle and they look like they haven't been fed. They don't socialize. So obviously if I touch them, they're not going to be comfortable. They'll just go in their shell. They're super tiny. They're super baby ones. And then we breaked for dinner after we finished filming our bit, and then we were going to continue filming. And then during my dinner break, I couldn't have dinner because I was so busy thinking about the turtles. And I was like, no one cleans their tank. They're going to get infections. They're going to get sick and they're going to die just because they're, neglected. So I went into and they were submerged in full water. So the tank I can't lift by myself because it was really heavy. It's glass and then it was filled with water. Yeah. So I didn't have my dinner. I decided to single-handedly go in the bathroom and try to deal with the situation. I put the turtle in some bucket that I found, and then I was trying to deal with it. My co-star comes to use the bathroom, and I'm like, you need to help me lift this. You can't use the bathroom until you help me deal with this. Poor guy helped me lift it, empty out the thing, and then I cleaned the whole damn thing, the tank, both the tanks, fed them, put them in the, thing. And then, so I didn't have dinner. And then I said, that's not enough. I now need to insult the people who have put the turtles in this scenario because I don't want them to do it again. And they take such good care of their cats. Just because the turtle doesn't say anything or you don't feel like it's affectionate to you, you're going to dump it like that. But why do you have it then? You know? So I went inside and then they were like, hey, you guys ready to start filming? Like, you know, and after we finished our shoot, we were about to leave. I thought about it for a very long time. Like during the entire sequence of shooting, I was thinking about how do I go up to these people and tell them to take better care of the turtles.
Wow, what dedication.
I was pissed off, but I didn't know how to do it nicely, but maybe not so nicely. I don't know. So I went up to the lady after, or the guy or somebody, whoever I was talking to, and I said, oh, you have a lot of cats here. Are the turtles yours in the bathroom? Because the bathroom is outside. So they were like, yeah, it's my partner's and stuff. And I was like, okay, well, your partner's not here. And he said, yeah, he's not here. I was like, well, I cleaned your turtle's tank. I fed them. They were not being fed. They were starving. I fed them. You need to tell your partner to take better care of them because they're just sitting in a bathroom is disgusting. But at the same time, they're not clean and they're not taken care of. And then the guy was super insulted. He should be.
It's like a loss of face for him, right?
Well, it should be. Like you don't keep, it's a life, you know?
Yeah,
it's like,
it needs to be taken care of.
You were taking responsibility for it. I don't know why it's in the bathroom, but
right.
Yeah. So I'm like, yes, I verbally assaulted a man.
And you're a good person.
Because I took care of those turtles. I don't know if they're fine now, but at least for that moment they were fed.
Maybe out of the fear of being shamed again, they're taking proper care of them.
Yes, I hope so.
Yeah. I hope so too.
They're afraid that I'll come back one day and be like, can I use the bathroom?
They probably moved. They're just like,
let's just disappear.
You scared them away.
Or they sold the turtles or something. God knows what they would have done. But we will see. Well, we won't see because I don't know. But
So you were doing like an acting job, or you were doing a Photoshop acting job? Okay. Mm-hmm. So this job it was here in Hong Kong, right?
Yeah.
And so you do quite a bit of you're a model, you're an actor. You're an art director, you're a photographer, you're a modeling agent.
Yes.
So you're 5 things.
I'm a set designer.
Okay. 6.
So let's think of more things. At retoucher, 7. Put that there.
100%.
What else do I do? I'm a gaffer. Put
8.
that there. 8. Yeah. The list goes on. If I can think of more things.
That's very impressive. And I can vouch for like many of those because we have worked together in those capacities. And like, you know, really like...
I have a problem delegating. So, as you can tell. I just don't trust anybody.
but I mean, like, what is it? I think it's called like...
A problem.
Well, no, I was going to go for something else. Slashers. Like, just like, you know, you're this slash that slash this.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty common for a certain generation, right?
Yes.
A lot of people just don't do this one thing anymore. It's just like my parents.
Yeah, but you know, I've been told it's like you're a jack of all trades, master of none.
Right.
And so a lot of people do still look at it that way.
Right.
Yeah, I think maybe depends on the country you're in as well. Like if you can sustain yourself off of doing one thing, then fine.
Right.
But when I started out in the creative field, it's not easy to sustain yourself. Oh. And I'm a minority here and I'm female in a male industry, especially with photography at the time that I started.
Right.
So then I had to think of other ways and I liked the other things that I was doing. So I didn't feel like I needed to sacrifice those other things, you know? Like modeling will go at some point. Like when I look old enough, they're going to be like, you're done.
Models need to be in all age groups, right?
Yeah, well, commercial models, but not necessarily like consistently booking jobs. There's still a certain age that you get work the most.
I see.
So yeah. Lucky for me, I don't look my age right now, so I'm fine. But once I start looking my age, that's it. I'm out.
So that's why you're cutting out sugar?
No. There's a separate reason.
Okay.
Yeah, health reasons.
Okay.
And also, I have a problem. I don't like having any vices. I feel like I have better control over myself.
Right.
And sugar was my only vice. So I was like, okay, can I control this?
Yeah, literally, you never drank.
No.
You never drunk?
No. I have tried it, but I don't like it. I don't like the feeling that, you know, like, I don't like the taste because it tastes funny.
Right.
And then I think it's an acquired taste. So if I drank enough, maybe I would like it. But I don't like it because I don't drink. But then I also don't like the feeling, even just slightly being out of control. Like I don't like that.
You also don't have a problem expressing yourself. Like a lot of people that like to like break the ice when you drink a little bit. Yeah, it's like you open up a little bit.
I don't need
relax.
alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah, you're fine.
I'm happy to break dance in public anytime. If I drunk, I don't know what. Maybe I'll go the opposite. You know, I'll be in a corner like just sort of quietly.
What happened when you tried it? You said you tried it once.
Okay. I did try it once. I don't remember. I felt like I was normal. My friend was there. Hi, Chandani. And this was very long ago, like in my teens or something. And she said there was a guy slapping me on the face 3 times. And I was just sort of like, he would slap me and I would just kind of like be back and he would slap me 3 times. She saw it. She was like, what's going on?
You fell asleep?
No, I had 1 glass of wine. And what happened was I didn't want, because there was no table to put it down and I wanted to dance. And so I just drank the whole thing because I was like, whatever. I didn't think much about it. And then she was like, okay, you're not okay. Something's off with you. You're not yourself. You don't let people slap you on the face ever. And you're letting this guy slap you 3 times in the face. And then she's like, we're going to go aside. And then she said, can you walk in a straight line? Apparently, I did not pass the test. So she was like, we're going home now. We're taking a cab. I was not drunk. I was completely aware, I think.
But right, yeah, you don't let people touch your face or slap you.
Yeah.
Unless it's like,
she said he slapped me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
3
not
times.
good. That's not good. That's not good.
Yeah, but otherwise I didn't enjoy it either. Like it was just weird not being fully,
Right, you're not at your full capacity.
Yeah,
you're
I
not
don't
fully
like
there.
not being in control.
Right.
Yeah, I'm a control freak.
You're like a diminished version of yourself when you're drunk.
Yes, yeah.
I like it every now and again, but I've started doing it way, way, way less. I used to drink a lot, especially when a certain friend of mine used to live here.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't like it either. I don't like it that much either.
Yeah, I don't like anything that I feel like makes me not in my senses. But like sugar, I don't feel anything different. But apparently it does to your brain what does to your brain a little more than what does. There was studies on it. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, maybe I'm not aware because I have so much sugar in a day. And then because like I have a family history of diabetes, like my family is full of it. But at the same time, cancer is very like big in my family recently. So, and the first thing they tell you when you are diagnosed with cancer is to stop having sugar because
Really?
it thrives on, like sugar feeds the cancer cells.
Oh my God.
So,
I need to stop
and
eating
so they
so much
stop
sugar.
you from having anything sugar, like even like natural sweets to a limit because it thrives on sugar, right? So, and I like sugar so much and I'm like, if I can't control it, like either I get diabetes or if I get diagnosed with something along the way, I won't be able to control it. Like it's such a big part of my life. Like I reward myself with sweets. If I feel like I've worked really hard today, I will have something sugary. Or like just my tea break will be cake or cookies or something sweet.
Right.
Yeah, and I've already cut it down a lot from when I was younger. But then I just felt like, what happens if I don't have it? Like, am I going to have headaches? Am I going to have a problem? But that was fine. And I didn't feel like my body was missing anything. So then I thought, let's see how long I can go. I have cheated, okay? I'm not going to lie because I've taken oath before doing this podcast. So
Sugar oath. A literal sugar oath.
Just I cannot lie, like at all. So
That's good. That's good though.
no, I said you gave me a Bible and I put my hand on it. So that's why I can't lie now.
So to whom did you swear to? Like who gave you the Bible?
You.
I gave you the Bible?
Before we started the podcast, I took oath.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So that's why I can't lie.
It's impossible.
Yeah. It's impossible. It's unfair if I lie. So yeah. And then, but I didn't feel any different. So I just continue. And then I cheated a couple of times. I will cheat tomorrow. I've told you about this already.
Right.
So
Big birthday.
yeah. So I plan to cheat this one. But it's okay every now and then. Like as long as I can go back to it, then it's fine.
And also, like, your body, like you were mentioning earlier when we were walking and talking, you said, like, you kind of gotten used to the sugar, like, how little sugar you have.
Yeah.
So you're actually, when you have it, you kind of,
tastes funny.
It's odd,
yeah.
right?
It tastes weird. And to some extent, like syrup and lemon tea and stuff like that I used to have all the time, tastes bad to me.
If it's too much when yeah, exactly.
It's funny now, like, yeah. So I actually prefer the no sugar in it.
But in Cantonese cuisine, they like to use a lot of sweets.
Yeah.
It's quite like
Oh,
sugary.
Indian cuisine is even more.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was curry.
The desserts that we have is drenched in syrup. Drenched. Like it's deep fried and then drenched in syrup. So
tomorrow you're going to fully overdose.
Yeah. Well, the one that I like the most is like paneer that's drenched in not syrup, but like some kind of sweetened milk, like condensed milk with sweetened, something like condensed milk.
Paneer is the kind of like very,
The
very
cheese.
thin.
It's the cheese.
Okay.
Yeah, the white cheese.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the dessert is called rasmalai, okay? And it's the best thing in the world. Like number one. Like recently I saw a study. They said it's the second best cheese dessert in the world. Lies. Absolute garbage bullshit. Like I completely disagree. Total. Okay? Like I hid like whatever crap I was going to say. Like I censored my own self. But like, no, it's not possible. It's illegal.
Untrue.
Yeah. It has to be number one. Like by far, literally, cheesecake can go in the drain. Like, sorry, whoever made cheesecake.
Now you crossed the line. Cheesecake is like one of the few cakes that I really enjoy.
It's okay, but you haven't tried rasmalai, okay?
I must try it at some point.
Yeah.
If it's better than cheesecake,
Better than cheesecake.
what if it's not?
Better. It is. There's no debate.
How can you deny
Then
that?
your mouth is broken. then your like taste buds are like ruined. You need to get it checked. Because
I'm literally from the other side of the planet. I
doesn't
might have
matter.
different culture
Never
and
mind.
different.
Doesn't
no?
matter.
Okay. It's universal.
It's universal delicious. Like universally, it's the second best one.
Okay.
I don't know what the first one is. I'm assuming it's cheesecake, but no, it lies.
All right.
I was offended, personally offended.
This must happen. I have to try this.
Must. But it's good.
So we transitioned from turtles
To
to
cheese.
desserts.
Cheese desserts. And completely went around like whatever we're supposed to talk about, nah, down the drain.
Yeah, just ignore.
Yeah. Okay, wait. So the podcast is all pain, all gain, right? So we went into talking about why it was called that, because that's you carrying a backpack. But then all pain, all gain can also be mental like strain that you put on yourself, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. And you need the mental strain to put on yourself.
And I feel like we do a lot of that.
Yeah,
both of us.
because then you perform better.
Yeah.
You beat yourself up to
Yes.
get there. This is what this podcast is about. If you are one of those wusses, I'm talking to you. If you're a wuss and you want to like just be told like, oh, it's okay, don't worry, it's going to be fine tomorrow. No, it is not going to be fine tomorrow. If you don't do it now. So I have a theory, okay? Like I was telling you, I have to do things immediately.
Yeah.
Number one, because I forget, because I'm getting old. But number two, it's because I have a checklist in my brain, okay? It's like when I wake up, this checklist appears. I don't have to see it. It's there. And it's like, today I do this. Okay? If someone messages me mid my checklist, I must reply. I can't see the number. I'm OCD to some extent, I'm pretty sure. I don't need to get it checked. But if I see the messages, there's like one there, I must click it.
Right. You don't like to see the
No,
red icon.
no.
Like everything must be addressed.
It must be addressed. And
Right.
I must address it as soon as I can. I'm very efficient in how I do things. So if this
I've
thing
noticed.
leads to tomorrow, no, that's not happening. Must be done today.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you don't function the same way that I do, you're a wuss.
I think your mantra will be working like perfectly for
All
workaholics.
pain, all this podcast is for people who want to die working. Like you want to die and have no life. Keep listening. Okay?
This is how you're supposed to live life.
Yes, this is how life is lived. Anyone who says otherwise, they're a liar. They're the people who put rasmalai at number 2. I'm convinced.
All right. A lot of big,
Lazy, lame-looking people.
a lot of big statements today.
I will get a court case. Like someone's gonna sue me for listening.
You were like,
Yeah.
this is like a super triggering podcast.
This is all pain, all gain. This is not no pain, no gain, or whatever crap
no.
other podcasts are there. This is all pain, all gain. You're gonna get things in your face. It's gonna be harsh. It's gonna be ugly. But we all do this to ourselves, you know?
Yeah.
We have expectations we want to reach. And so you carry your backpacks. I beat myself up mentally.
Pain is pleasure.
Pain is pleasure.
Yeah.
Beauty is pain.
Beauty is pain.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you're a girl, you wear high heels for what? Is it comfortable? No. Exactly. But it makes your posture and your butt look nice.
That's it. You have
That's
to
it.
suffer.
You
have
must
to
suffer.
to get the benefits.
Yes. Exactly. Why do we put makeup on our face? Clogs our pores. We still bloody put it.
Right. I would be a horrific female.
Why do we get waxed?
Right, exact pain.
Pain.
Rewards.
But to look, yes, exactly. To look hairless, like you were just born.
Like,
That's the goal.
you need to permanently look like
Yes.
you're in your early teens.
Exactly.
Always.
Early teens, I was a bush, dude. What do you mean I'm brown? I was born with hair on my arms. It's a fact. Like it's funny, but it's real.
I wish I had more
Oh
on
yeah,
her. Like
you
I
don't
have
have
nothing.
any. Oh, because yours is blonde.
Yeah, I mean, even
You're
if
like
it's blonde,
blessed or something.
there's nothing.
You're blessed. Like that's it.
No, no, I'm just like I'm just.
Yeah, who
I like
has
to think I'm
blonde?
more
Like
evolved.
ours is like, okay, I can't show you mine because I had laser yesterday. All pain, all gain. Thank you. But yeah, it's black, so you can see it from a distance.
I said something insanely racist just now. I said I was more evolved, and you just missed it.
Okay.
I was trying to trigger you.
We don't want to talk about this, okay? Because we've debunked this already.
Well, you said.
you want to bring it up?
You said
Okay.
that I had a defect, like my eyes were defect. I was like, huh,
Please,
how are my eyes defect?
because you lack melanin in your eyes.
And that's a defect.
It's. I may have used the wrong word, but you're my friend, so I can say that to you in your face. You know what I mean? Like people who have lighter color hair is a defect. You know?
Yeah. So I'm defect. I'm defect.
Defected.
I'm double defect.
You just lack melanin. That's all. It doesn't harm your body in any way. You know what I mean? But
It's not adaptation
But
to
what
my
did I
environment.
tell you? I said my eyes are becoming lighter with age.
Yes, you
so
did.
I'm losing my eyesight. So I'm getting defected.
But you weren't born defect.
I was born with gray eyes. I was born with gray eyes.
Oh, really?
So defected.
Okay, but it corrected itself.
It corrected itself. And then I'm going back, and probably when I get old, it'll be gray because it's going backwards.
So you're devolving.
Yes. Unfortunately. And then that's why we have white hair, because you lack melanin. And so it's a defect. You see? So lighter hair color is people who have some sort of lack of melanin. So it's a defect. It's not actually, it's correct. What I said was right. Okay?
I think it
was a harsh word.
So I was born with a lot of experience. Like I'm gray, like I have experience.
Okay,
I was born with
yes.
experience in my eyes because my soul is like
Old.
I'm a double soul shaman. I'm like really, I have like many people inside.
Okay. This is all pain, all gain. So we're not here to like impress anybody with our, sensitivity.
I can't. I couldn't. I'm very insensitive to myself, let alone others.
Yeah. Same.
But I'd like to think I'm more sensitive to other people than I am to myself.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
I'm actually working on my inner dialogue because I'm thinking,
You're like,
if I'm too mean to myself, like some of it might unintentionally leak out onto others. So I'm trying to be kind to myself so I'm not less of an asshole.
Okay.
Honestly.
Well, I'm mean to myself and I'm mean to others. So
unapologetically.
Yeah.
You've never been mean to me.
No, we spoke about this during lunch, that people think that I'm intimidating. Like on what basis? I understand now. We talked about this. We've worked through this, but it was baffling to me. Like I was like, what about me? And when I look in the mirror, do I intimidate myself? I don't think so. I try to, I look at myself like, bitch, fucking die tomorrow. Like it's you're ugly.
Oh no.
Fix that. Shh.
You also have those bad voices then.
Oh, fully.
Yeah.
Fully. Yeah, but it's what motivates me to be better, When I look at myself and I tell myself you're not doing a good job, when I look at my own work and I'm like, that's trash, bitch, do better tomorrow, sense of that, then yeah, then it's all pain, all gain. But then it helps me motivate myself to do better tomorrow.
I genuinely think that's how you get better. If you get born into money, if you get born into stuff, like you have to fight it in yourself to get better, because you don't need to get better.
Yeah.
I feel like, we need to get better, because otherwise, like, who's going to hire us?
Yeah.
If we're not improving, we're getting worse.
Yeah.
And we're like, it's already hard enough, this gig, trying to constantly have a job, trying to constantly find projects, right?
Yeah, and I think people don't understand that. Like, I feel like a lot of people who have a 9 to 5, like, they don't need to think, what's my next project? Every month you get that paycheck coming in. But with us, it's like, okay, today I'm doing this job. I'm really happy and grateful I got this job. But while I'm doing this job, I'm already thinking, like, what's my next one? Like next month, I don't have anything booked. Like, am I going to have something booked? Am I in discussion with 5 people for quotes? Like, what is going on? Sometimes you quote 5 times, you don't get anything back. And then you feel demotivated because no one wants to pay you what you think you deserve to be paid.
Rejection.
Yeah. And it's monthly. Like every month, you don't know what you're making. Like, sure, at the end of the month, maybe you've done really well, but like, it's still there at the back of your head.
And your studio and your landlord, he's going to get his money no matter what.
Yes, yeah. So it's always this thing there. Like it's nonstop. So then that's why we work 24 hours, because we might not be physically, like, I put a border now. Before I used to, like, when clients would message me at any time of the day, if I have a computer at home, I will actually edit, because I'm like, I can't not give it on time. I need to do this. I need to keep my relationship. And I had no boundaries for myself.
Right.
I don't know about you, but when I started, I was like that, because I felt like business is business, right? And I need that business and I need that relationship for like the next one.
Right.
And then I think it took me like a very, very long time, like fairly recently.
Was it like kind of a burnout thing that you
No,
experienced?
no.
Why did you stop? Why did you
I
make
felt
that?
like I didn't have any time for my family. Like, I think when
Right.
my dad got sick, there was a lot of time that I was still working because I moved from one location to the next. And then I also moved from the next to the next. Like while my dad was sick, we had a 6-year period. So, there was a lot of construction moving, the rents were increasing. And I wanted to get certain places in my life because I started very young. And so I'm talking about like when I was 23, 24, this already started with my dad. So, I felt like I need to prove myself. I need to do this, do that, do this. But I didn't have time that I spent with my family. A lot I did, but because I live with them. But it's not the same. It's not the same. Like I didn't put things off to spend that time. Or, like at least I felt so. And sometimes once a week didn't even happen. Like we used to have a family thing where every Sunday we go out as a family.
Right.
And I couldn't do that because sometimes on Sunday I'm working. And it's still today. Like sometimes Sunday I'm working.
Right.
But then
you try to keep Sundays.
I try to keep Sundays. Yeah. I try to keep at least like even for myself, like my own mental health, 1 or 2 days off.
Right.
If I can in the week, like 1 day at least.
I think that's really important because otherwise you're just like working yourself into the ground.
Yeah.
And I think inspiration and a creative person, you need to have like that hunger. You need to want to do it. And if you're constantly doing it without a break, how are you going to be able to wake up and want to do it?
Yeah. And I think the thing that I have no self-control with this stuff because if like my phone I'm always checking my phone because I have 4 different businesses and someone needs me for something. Right. But then at the same time, like, and again, that I'm OCD, so the notifications thing bothers me. But, when I know, okay, a client needs something to change, it's going to be 5 minutes for me to change it. I'll just do it now. Right. But so I've very consciously kept a very laptop for myself at home. Where I can't work out of.
Oh, that's smart.
Like I can just maybe check my emails at most, but I can do that on my phone. Right. So that laptop is just there for if I need to use a laptop for something. Yeah. But it's to the point where I can't, it's more like an iPad than like I purposely did it.
Oh, that's smart. That's really good.
Because then I keep that line. Then I'm like, I honestly can't do it right now.
Right.
So
it's not an option.
It's not something I can't. So you have to wait till I go back to work, whenever that is. Right. Because I can't physically do it on this computer.
And I think it's also like this happens also like to people probably that work like in their own business.
Yes.
Like to have a separation between your home, when you're home and resting and your bed, like to have a physical separation between those two lives.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like, your environment triggers you to be stressed. And if that home, like where you're meant to be resting, is like also a representation of a stress, that's not good.
Yeah.
That is not good at all.
Yeah, and I think we don't realize that. Like when you feel like you're so hungry for this industry or like you want to prove yourself or you want to have a certain income, like because you're longing for that next job all the time, that you don't keep that boundary. Like you don't realize.
Maybe in the beginning it's okay because you're establishing yourself.
Yes.
You're trying to fight for like, you're trying to earn your place. You're trying to earn like a keep. But maybe it's just, like in the long term, it's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable. And even when you're like very young, I think you can tolerate that sort of thing. Yeah. But if you start a new business and you're older, you should just have, even as a young person, you should just have that boundary. Right. Because honestly, it's healthy. But then because you work as a creative, and I think the image of our industry is like you are able to do things anytime.
Yeah.
Like it's not just some other kind of freelance job that people understand you can't function. Aside from when you're available to function on working hours, you're expected to function.
I think it's also in particularly bad here in Hong Kong because I feel like working culture is like really, really, really rough here.
Yeah.
People are expected to be like available and like working almost all the time.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're talking about like people who don't realize this for being self-employed. I've had like people speak to me and like, interact with me like they kind of just would an employee.
Yes. Yeah.
But like that's a huge difference between that. Because
they think they're paying you. So I'm paying you means you work for me now.
Yeah, but we get paid based on those deliverables.
Yes.
We don't get paid unless there's like a extra specific item that gets ticked. But if you just ask me for like, can I see like 5 different versions?
Yeah.
Well, no. Then I have to work like so much extra for that. That's like that's not what we talked about.
But there's no boundary.
Right.
There's no boundary, and it's just this mentality that I've paid you, and so you work for me until
you're
this project.
You're my slave right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I'm just going to try my luck and see if you're willing to do it for me. Right. And problem is there's a lot of people who are because they feel like I need this job and I need this relationship. And so people will take advantage. There are some clients who are great. Like they respect the boundary. They will not push you for things. And, you know, it's nice to have clients like that.
Yeah.
But there's some clients who will try to take advantage.
Right.
So I guess the assertiveness needs to be there for that, I suppose.
Maybe.
Like, no.
You told me
Here's the invoice for this extra requirement that you ask me. Pay it now, then I'll do it. Like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's how you need to do it. That's also how you educate the clients, because otherwise, like they might not know, because they just keep pushing and asking for more and more and more, which you can do for a full-time employee.
Which is why I make those reels on Instagram now. Okay. Like, how long does it take to produce a shoot? Like, you know, like I put down one with like 1 day for props, 1 day for this. Like they need to see it. They need to understand. It's not like it just happens overnight.
No.
So I don't know. I try to see if things can be improved by putting these kind of contents out. And maybe no one's going to say they saw it, but they saw it. You know what I mean? So...
And if also, like, you have a catalog of stuff, if you need to explain something to
here,
people, you can just
video.
like, watch this reel here.
I actually did this at once.
Really? What was the response? Was it positive or?
I sent because they were expecting me to retouch everything instantly, like proper full retouch, but do it like fast. And I was like, well, you're asking me to do high-end jewelry editing. That I have to not only edit the skin and the model, I need to also edit the jewelry. Each picture takes time. I send them, I have a video of the process of how long it took me to edit just the skin for like properly, nicely. And I sent them the video. I was like, why don't you watch this? And I recorded it. You can have a look at the process and then you'll understand why it takes time.
Oh, that's brilliant. Also being able to do that like in the conversation as you're like on WhatsApp or wherever, you're like immediately you can address it.
Yeah, because then they can see it physically with their, not physically, but visually, they can see it. And then they can understand, okay, this is why it takes so long. And like something they didn't expect, because they said other photographers they worked with were able to deliver the photos like literally the next day. And I was like, yeah, because they use Lightroom. They just color grade it and copy paste the settings and then they send you that. It doesn't apply. Like when you're doing something so close up with skin, it's totally different. Like
it's like quantity over quality or quality over quantity.
Yeah, and it's never gonna look nice. Like the metal against jewelry, the shininess of the diamond, like you're not gonna get
lose
that.
All structure and it just like goes into like this kind of beige mush of no texture.
Yeah.
If you go too much.
Yeah, so I tried to explain it. I didn't get the job. Maybe I was too aggressive.
No, but I mean, some clients, they just like they're looking to maximize. They just value amounts, and they're just looking to like, I can get like 300 photos here, but I can only get like 10. 15 here or 10 here. Like I'm definitely going to do this.
Yeah.
So they have to learn by their own experience.
Yes.
Or I also learned this just for myself. Like just if they don't value your abilities and how you like to work, then they should just work with some other people who they value the style of work with. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's actually better for everyone.
Yeah.
And so then if the occasion comes later where they want to do more of a quality, more measured approach, then they can come to you. And then they're already like, I know what the quantity road is. And now they can come to you for exactly how you want to work.
Actually, yeah. I did have a client like that who also jewelry, but she initially had worked with someone else. Like she asked me for a quote. And then she was like, oh, you're significantly more expensive than the next person who's offering me like 5K for like crap number of images. And, you know, like I was like, okay, well, I can't compare with that. I can't compete with it. I can't reduce my rate to accommodate that with the work that I'm doing. So, you know, it's fine. I hope your shoot goes well. And hopefully we can work. She said, I'd love to do lifestyle shots with you at some point. Right. So I was like, sure, we'll get to that. Months later, she comes back to me and she said, can I do the e-com and the lifestyle at the same time? But she's already done the e-com with someone else, as per what she told me. So I was like, I mean, sure. If you need more, maybe it's a new set of, you know, jewelry, something, I don't know. So I said, sure. We discussed a quote. She was okay with it. On the day of the shoot, she comes and tells me, this is the same products. I did do the shoot with someone else. And all the jewelry looked black.
Oh, no.
And so she was like, the diamonds look black. And even post-processing can't fix that.
No. That's the lighting.
Yeah.
It's locked in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do. Okay, editing is huge. Like you can do a lot with editing.
Yeah.
But there's only so much you can do.
Yeah. And also, I feel like the more you can do in the shoot, the better the result.
Yes.
You can edit your way out of anything, like you said, but it's never going to be as good as if you did it properly on the spot.
Yeah. And the second, like she was looking at my computer and as I was just shooting raw files, she was like, this is 20 times better than the edited stuff that I got from the other person.
Exactly.
And then she said, I understand now.
Right.
And she moved overseas. She still commissioned me for something from there. She was like, I'll send you the products and can you guys shoot it for me and stuff. And I was like, yeah, of course. Like, you know, and.
But I feel like some certain personality types, or just like in general, a lot of people, they're not receptive for new information unless it's like their idea or they see it. If they see a problem and they need a solution to that problem, if then they are given a solution to it, like, oh, it's the lighting, then if you preemptively tell them without them having a bad experience, they might not be open to
they won't understand it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to get slapped to know it hurts, you know. All pain, all gain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So sometimes no matter how much you tell them, they won't understand why they're paying you that much.
And also it's incredibly tough because, like, you know, we are in a service industry. We are providing a service. And like, you know, just like you're in a restaurant, like, you know, the restaurant is there to serve the client. If the client wants something done in a certain way, he will ask for the steak done this way. Or they will ask for, like, you know, I don't want too much sugar in my tea. Like, you're catering to their needs. And if the client is asking you for an approach that you don't agree with and don't think is the right approach, you still do it because you're asked to do it. You're paid to do it. I at least have that perspective. I will always tell my opinion, but if the client wants to do it in a different way, I will still do it. How do you handle that? Are you good at that? Do you feel like you're good at dealing with those situations?
Good question. I think a lot of cases, they ask me a way of doing something. I will tell them why I don't agree with it, if I don't agree with it, and I'll give them an alternative. Like, I also have a shoot this Sunday with a client that, you know, initially approached me for like a very short, like she gave me a very short number of hours that she wanted to execute the shoot. And I was like, that's not possible. And then I tried to explain, I realized it's not going through. So I made a schedule and I explained like, okay, this is the number of hours I think we need to execute what you need, because you need to allocate this much time for these reasons. And then, like, for example, also another client who reached out to me for corporate shoots and their portraits, they're like 20 people we need to shoot. I think you need less than an hour. I was like, it's not going to fit in less than an hour because it takes me 30 minutes just to set up my equipment and backdrops and test the light. And then another 30 minutes to dismantle everything. And then between that, like, each person you need to allocate about at least 10 minutes, like at least 10 minutes to take the shot for that person, because they're not models. Like, they don't know their angles. They might take a shot and look at it and they don't like it and they want to try something else, or I need to give them time to feel comfortable in front of the camera because they're not used to it.
And the portraits are pointless if people aren't happy with them.
Yeah, exactly. It represents them, right? So 10 minutes is already a very tight window to get someone to do something to a point where they like it.
Yeah.
But okay, I'm comfortable to direct people and suggest poses and stuff for them. So I think minimum we need 10 minutes per person. So you're not going to get it done in like an hour.
No.
But when I explained it, then the client was like, well, I've actually never done this kind of shoot before. So I didn't know. But thanks for letting me know and like explaining everything.
Oh, that's a very positive response.
I realized like there's no use for me to get angry or upset when someone doesn't know this stuff, because it's maybe they've never done it before.
Right.
Maybe they've done it with someone else who's able to do it in an hour, but I can't. So I need to explain why I can't.
But it's easy to lose your patience when you've explained this for the 70th time this year or something.
Yeah. But then I just feel like, okay, it's my duty. Like, I can't expect, like, if I, like a restaurant example like you gave, if I went to a restaurant and someone said, well, you know, if you don't like the way I make the steak, make it yourself. I can't make the steak because I don't know how to cook. But I didn't even understand why. Like, maybe I thought it was like that, but because I watched movies and I've watched videos somewhere else and it looked like it was a 5-minute job, but I didn't understand it until someone took the time to explain it to me.
Right.
So, yeah, I feel like I'll try my best to explain it to you. And if you refuse what I suggest, like for me, I don't like to charge clients overtime. No. I don't like the process where I'm shooting something and then I've told them, let's say, I need 4 hours. And they said, no, we need to do it in 2. And then I accept the job knowing that I can't do it in 2. And then I know in my heart it's going to go over time. But for them, they have a budget. Like, as a business owner myself, I have budgets for certain things that I need to pay people for. Yeah. If it goes over that budget, it's a pain in my ass. Yeah. But because I understand that, I don't want to be like, yeah, sure, I'll do it in 2 hours, and then I can't. It goes over time. Sorry, you need to pay me.
Right. Exactly.
Because I know what that feels like on their shoes. So I will tell them it cannot be done in 2 hours. Right. If you insist, I will try.
Like, but we need to make compromises, and you suggest maybe what compromises can be made.
So I might tell them, okay, I think it's going to take 4 hours. I will do my best to do it in 2. We will try our best to pre-plan everything as much as we can to accommodate it to fit into 2 hours, although I do foresee it going over time. So if you are going with me, keep in mind they might be, we will do our best. So on the day they can see I'm not just trying to drag it along. I really am trying to do my best to keep it in time. But if it does go over time, allocate that budget in advance so that you know that it's not that something you need to fight for later with your boss, or like as a business owner, you're struggling to pay it because you didn't foresee it, you know?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So there's certain lines maybe I'll try to encourage them towards, but I'll at least tell them to keep that budget in mind just in case it goes. Because I've done this so many times, I know it's going to take time. Yeah, but sometimes I've been shocked. Like there's been a shoot recently I did that I quoted for an hour more than what we actually needed. And it was because the client wasn't sitting on my head. When I was shooting, she was literally like, I trust you.
Right.
You want to do it there, this angle, whatever. We were on location somewhere, and she was like, you like that? You want to shoot that? I literally trust everything. We had enough time to like impromptu shoot like a quick video for her product as well, without planning anything. Like we just had extra time.
Right.
But it doesn't usually happen.
No. Yeah, that's an exception. Yeah.
Yeah, and also because a lot of the times the clients want to be part of the shoot.
Yeah.
Do you have clients who ask you, can they come for a shoot? Like,
yeah, definitely. Yes.
Yeah. Like they ask you or they just show up? Because I expect them to show up, but some clients actually expect me not to expect them to show up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think it's different. Like I've even had like a situation where like a modeling agent insisted or wanted to be on the spot for the shoot.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too. That, without saying too much, like I ended up like, not liking that person. And,
was
and
it
not
a big
getting along with him.
production, like a big scale? There was multiple talents.
We had 2 models from that agency.
Oh, okay, that's weird.
I think what that person was doing was just networking and just trying to like maybe get a contact with the client and also with the photographer and also with the production.
Okay,
I think it was a networking thing. But that person ended up also being very like opportunistic towards me. Because I tend to be like, I present myself, not vulnerable, but open. And like, he tried to take advantage of my nice nature.
You said he.
Yes.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Let's not.
No, I won't say any name, but
we can talk after. I'll tell you after. I'll tell you after the fact.
I think I know who, but okay.
Okay. No.
Yeah, I see that in this person as well.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But I mean, I think that's sometimes a really good way to like get to know how people are. If you're not, at least me, like I'm naturally not too like overbearing. I'm naturally very open and kind and nice. And I feel like, you draw out the core, the real person quicker this way.
Yeah.
So it can be a good thing.
But it's interesting you said that. So I have accompanied a model once to a job, one model to a job. The reason why was because I felt the client was dodgy.
Okay, so you wanted to make sure like nothing.
So me and Nicola, my business partner, we always like the reason we started the industry. I don't know what I'm saying. The reason we started the agency is because in the industry, a lot of agencies don't have the best interest of the model in mind. So there's many times where I've been in positions where I've showed up to a job through an agent and it happens to be a very dodgy situation. Like I've been in a local movie with an agent representing me, who gave me all the information I asked, except the fact that this movie was an inappropriate movie. It's not a porn movie, but it was close to it.
Oh, wow. And they neglected to tell you.
I didn't know. And then and they told me to bring evening dresses and stuff. So I had that. I prepared that. Then on spot, they were like, here, the agent ditched me midway. She knew it was about the time for me to start filming. So she goes away and she disappears. And so the director comes up to me with a bikini and he was like, can you wear this? And I'm like, I'm not wearing that. Like your agent told me to wear evening wear. I don't do lingerie or bikini or any of those stuff.
It's a
like
completely different rate for modeling too.
Yeah, it is a different rate, but it was for a movie, right? So the payment is not as good as modeling, but at the same time, it's not what I agree to.
Right.
And I said I brought a bunch of clothes of my own. And then he was like, and the agents left, right? So she left for good reason because she knew she was scamming me. And the director maybe to some extent because he thought I was understanding what this project was about.
Right.
I didn't know because it was a local film. So I didn't know anything, right? So I didn't even understand from the name. Apparently the name was giveaway enough.
Okay.
I didn't understand because I can't read. So
right.
So I said no on spot. And I'm not scared to say no to things. I'm happy to leave if, you're not able to accommodate like what I want to wear because I was told this, right? So I'm not going to compromise.
Right.
And then they gave me a pair of shorts and they were like, can you wear, like it's covered. I wasn't naked or anything. They were like, can you wear this one piece and then the shorts on top? I'm like, fine. That's okay with me. And he was like, all you need to do is pretend you're like, modeling with the photographer. Like the scene is just you're a model and there's a shoot happening, right? And then someone's going to walk past, stare at them, continue your thing, done. Okay, easy enough. And I was told that. I just had to act like a model. So I was like, fine, sure. I did it. Apparently, so a friend of mine watched, a friend of mine's friend watched the movie. Okay. And he was like, why is this your friend in this film? Like, that's so weird. Like, why is she in this movie? It's not an appropriate movie. And I'm like, what? I didn't know. I didn't even know it was out. So it didn't come in the cinema, So I was like, okay. And it was just like a 2-second scene. But like, obviously, I'm very recognizable. So
sounds like that person is morally compromised if they watch the movie at all.
Yeah, exactly. But and then I was like, great. So I was conned into being that, into that film to some extent.
Right.
It's happened many times in different scenarios. Like you show up to a shoot, you think, you're with a team and it's just a creepy photographer there. Like it happens often.
I'm sure it happens a lot to girls.
It does happen a lot to girls.
And
Also to guys. It's called casting couch.
I had heard the term.
Yeah. So it happens. So we wanted to start an agency that would be there for the models and protect them. And so when this particular client approached us for a shoot, and he specifically wanted this girl, and she was young, she's like 18, 17, 18, something like that. And she was willing to do the shoot. It was for athleisure, so it's not anything skimpy, but the location wasn't like a known studio. There was no photographer. The client was like, I'm going to use my phone and take the photos. So me and Nicola were like, look, he's willing to pay our budget, what we asked for, because if he wasn't willing to pay, then that's out of the question. He's willing to pay, but I think it's not fair for us to let the girl go on her own. It's our duty to just accompany.
Just make sure that nothing nefarious is happening.
And if one of us are there, nothing's going to happen.
Right.
Because there's 2 people from our agency and just this one guy.
And Nicola is also a model, right? So she's experienced.
Yeah,
and
we
she
both
knows,
have. So which is why we decided to start this together. So we both agreed, okay, this time I'm going to go for this one. So I went with the model and it was fine. Nothing happened. Nothing weird happened. But, it's important for us to go in that scenario. I've also been in shoots where there is a model agency agent, because there's like 10 models being represented by them. So they just want to make sure that everyone's okay.
Right.
Everyone's being managed, because then they also come in as, how do you call them? They're the agent who brought the models in, but they also manage all the talent so that the director and the producer can be focused on their actual shoot. Because if they need 1 or 2 talents, they'll just call this one agent, and agent will be like, hey, you go.
As a one-point person.
Yes. Yeah. So even though I didn't go through that agent for the job, she was there to manage me with everyone else, who she also, she's also getting a cut because she's managed those, she's brought in those 10 talents. So those cases, it's normal to have an agent present when there's bulk models from that agency.
Right.
Sometimes
makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Sometimes they don't show up. Sometimes they show up. But that makes sense to me.
Yeah, it does.
But then, in your case, it shouldn't have been the case.
I just thought it was a little bit odd, and it ended up also being the right hunch. Have you ever felt that sometimes you have a feeling in your stomach or where you have a feeling for a situation?
Yeah.
You can't explain it, but then it turns out to
be that.
Yeah. Do you act on that?
Well, how do you mean act on it?
For instance, if you have a bad feeling about a person or a situation.
So I go up to them and be like, I knew you were nasty.
No, I mean,
saw it coming.
Do you take steps to try to inquire more or check?
Yeah,
Okay, so you do that.
But I feel like instinctively as a female, I need to for certain things. So if someone was trying to ask me for something, I'll be like, can I have more information? Can I know where? Can I know what? Can I know why?
Right.
Can I know who?
Right. Maybe it's different for a guy.
Yeah. So you're not used to doing it. So yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, because I don't have to be physically, I don't have to be afraid. It's usually.
Yeah. But I think in my industry, on-screen industry, you are put into a lot of the situations when you're young.
Yeah.
And it's scary. So if you don't know how to behave or you don't know what questions to ask, you can get into that situation very easily again and again.
Right.
So, you tend to ask more than you need to.
Was that the reason why you guys started the agency? Because
One
you
of
kind
the
of
reasons.
felt like there are some situations that the industry sometimes took not good enough care about the talents?
Yeah, because it's just an exploitation of talents at some point. When you do a job, you don't get paid. There's an ad of me going on a billboard somewhere in Shangwan. Till now, I've never got paid for it. The agent took the money and ran away and gambled it in Macau. He openly told me that when I asked him about it. But it happens. And, the male talent had the same, because we went through the same agent. He told me, we talked about it. He was like, I also didn't get paid. The literal same story when I asked the agent. I spoke to the client directly. Client said I paid. The agent came on the day after the shoot, like when we were about to leave. Apparently he came at the back and took the money and left, and we didn't see him. So it happens. And like for me, diversity was an issue. So I wanted to have an agency where, because I've approached agencies when I started modeling, like I didn't know another route. Like the only route you think of is modeling agencies. So I reached out to a bunch and they're like, no, we don't have jobs for someone who looks like you, because you're not Caucasian, but you're not Asian enough to be Asian here. I am Asian, but I'm not Asian enough.
Right. And mixed models. They get a lot of, especially today, they get a lot of work, right?
But mixed Chinese, like mixed with something else.
Right.
So even if I look mixed, I don't look mixed Chinese. So I don't.
You're not mixed enough.
Yeah, I'm not the right mix.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not mixed, but even if I was, it needs to be the right mix.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, without saying anything that's like not fitting for public stuff, we all heard stuff and we all know how like certain cultures.
Yeah, I mean, I understand like it's business.
Yeah.
And so like for an agency to have a set of models, like they need to be able to book them jobs.
Yeah.
So I don't think necessarily it was so personal that they didn't want to have me. It's more like I don't know how many jobs I can give you.
Like what look is in demand.
Yes,
right.
yeah.
And it was practical.
Yeah, and for them, they're like, I don't need to change the industry because we have more than enough talents to support that industry, what people want. But for me, I felt like very excluded from all of that. And so I felt like Hong Kong's an international city, right? So like, why are the billboards like a reflection of like one tiny ass population of that when it should look more diverse?
Yeah.
And there is a demand for diverse talents. That's why I was still working as a model as a freelance basis. But like, you know, what about the bigger corporations that only go through agencies? They're not going to be able to find people like me because we're always freelance and they're not going to go that route.
No.
So we just decided during COVID to start it.
And I would also imagine that particularly for models, it's probably really difficult to be like fully self-employed and just like try to push yourself around.
Yeah.
Like, because all the companies, they go to an agency because they want to have like a selection, or they want to have a casting.
Yeah.
So it's like if you have to individually reach out to all the individual models, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, and it's a lot to manage because some of them are not responsible.
Right.
So sometimes I don't know if you've experienced it, but I've had models who I've booked on a freelance basis who are not respectful of your time. They show up 2 hours late.
Or it don't show up in one case for me.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
that is so annoying.
What did you do?
I told that person off. I was like, hey, this is not professional.
But they didn't show up on the shoot day. So what did you do in that moment?
Like of the morning, we had like planned a shoot at 12 o'clock or 1 p.m. In the morning, she had canceled.
Oh.
I was like,
what was the excuse?
I can't even remember.
Okay.
I don't retain useless information. There was just some but like I just like, you know, that's not professional. Like, you know, we've all planned this days ahead, weeks ahead. We've all acquired, like, we have found the location, we found the concept, the clothes have been tailored to your size, everything is lined up, and then you go ahead and pick it up on the day. Oh, sorry. You go, yeah, exactly. That is just unacceptable.
Yeah, but then what did you do for the shoot? Like, you had to cancel it?
I think I just reached out to the designer, and the designer and me were like good friends on really good terms. And so thankfully she has a lot of good friends, so she was able to find someone. So it kind of worked out in the end. It was okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nah, good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I had an experience where a girl showed up like 2 hours late, and I'd worked with her before on another job. She wasn't particularly timely or polite, but I liked her look. I thought she did really well at the shoot, and I liked the photos. So I recommended her to another client, and I booked her freelance. The number of excuses I got, so we had 2 models. We started off with the first girl who I also knew, and I liked her as well. So she was in hair and makeup, and then when she was supposed to start shooting, the other one was supposed to come. And she kept telling me, oh, I'm late, like, sorry, because I couldn't get a taxi. I'm like, okay, but the taxi to my studio is like 15 minutes max, 20 minutes. So sure, like, fine, we can wait, right? 10 minutes down the line, I messaged her, are you almost here? Like, are you in a cab at least? And then she was like, no, I still haven't got a cab. I'm like, okay, you're in Central. Like, that's not difficult to get a cab. You have Uber, like, you can Uber or something. Like, what do you mean you're not in a cab yet? I figured she was like, you can check Instagram, you can see people are careless, they post stuff. She was just partying all night. And then basically it came to a point where she was like almost an hour late. And I told the client, like, even if she comes now, she's going to go into hair and makeup. That's another hour. And we were doing e-com with the first model. We needed to do all the e-com with her because now the second model wasn't here, right? So I was like, we're still shooting. We're almost done with the e-com. So the campaign was supposed to be them two together. I don't see a point for her to come now. So I told her, just don't come. Like, you don't need to show up. She sees the message, no reply, right? So I continue shooting and I was telling the client, okay, we need to think on spot right now. You need 2 girls in the shot. So I'm going to go out on the limb and suggest that we shoot the same model twice. Like, change and shoot her twice. Like, we'll try to plan.
That's very creative.
Yeah, but how much editing that takes?
So much.
But, I was like, we have no choice. Like,
also, you have to envision like what the interaction or the poses are going to be.
So I needed to tell her, okay, if we try this pose, you have to flip it and do the other way. And then every single time. Or like if you are seated here, the next one you need to be seated here. Like, we need to just go with the flow at this point. And we need to think on spot and make this work. Think of it like twins. Like, you're shooting yourself twice because you're a twin.
Yeah.
I had done it before as a test for myself, like just to test my editing. So I know I can do it. And I did it outdoors on location without a tripod, and I could do it. So I was like, I know for a fact I can do it in studio. It's much easier.
Right.
But then it was annoying. And the story doesn't end there. So we were doing this twin thing, right? And the client didn't have a choice, but she was happy with the idea. She was like, okay, it could be cool. Like, at least we have 2. I'm not compromising and just having one person, because it's a campaign shot. It's not like just a random photo shoot. Like, it has to look like a campaign.
Yeah.
So she didn't want just one model. And so we didn't compromise, at least in that manner. We tried and made it work, right?
That's well done.
So when we were shooting that, the other girl shows up. She bothers to take a cab and come, even though I told her not to come. So she slides the door open. No, sorry, I'm late. None of that. She's like, I'm here. I'm ready to go into makeup. I turn around. I'm like, what is that attitude? So I literally look at her. I'm like, you can go home. I don't know why you're here. I texted you not to come. Because the client is like very soft-spoken. She didn't know what to say. She was kind of like, what do I do? Like, we just let her have hair and makeup and we just pay her and pay everyone overtime? Like, she didn't know how to react. I could see her face.
Right.
So I just turned around. I'm like, you can leave. Thanks for coming. I told you not to, so you can leave. And then she literally was like, and gave me all of that shit, and she left. I was like, dude, it's on. Literally, you're 2 hours late. Like, look at the clock. You're 2 hours behind schedule. Do you want me to now have you in hair and makeup?
So it's just check your privilege.
I was shocked at her behavior. Yeah. Like, you didn't even come in and say, I'm so sorry that I'm late.
Yeah.
Like, I still wanted to come by just in case you still needed me.
Right.
Nothing. Like, it was...
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I have a real hard time with people who just feel like they're special or above just common courtesies and just have no respect for others' time, like you said. That's what it came down to.
So I think that's a reason why a lot of big companies don't want to go with freelance models.
Right, yeah, I get
because
that.
They're not responsible. Like,
also, like, the agency has a reputation and a certain level of professionalism that is expected. On that note, do you try to help models, like, do you tell them what they should do or should not do or things along those lines as an agency?
Not necessarily. I think me and Nicola are very careful with the talents we bring into our agency. So we also understand what it's like on the other side because we both take pictures as well. So we know what it's like having a really shit model or someone who's rude and disrespectful.
Right.
So when we have a model with our agency, we always have a casting with them first.
Right.
And we kind of get a feel. And Nicola's really good with having that gut feeling. So she just knows, I don't know how, like she just knows whether someone's good or not. But you also get a feeling of how they pose, how they move, how confident they are. Right. Have they done this before? If they're new, we try to organize test shoots for them so they get more practice, and then so that we can also help get them jobs accordingly because they're new, so they wouldn't be able to perform as well in a commercial, right? But then if they have experience, like we also get to know their personality. Like some people have come in, like they're gorgeous, 100% we can book them lots of jobs, but their attitude stinks. They come in, they're like, I need a rush, I'm going in 5 minutes, like hurry up, and they're late, and they talk to you like you're a piece of shit and that you need them. And it's just overall not nice. And if they're doing this to me, when they show up to a client's job, they're going to do that to the makeup artist. They're going to do that to the client, you know? And
it's just not the right attitude.
It's not. And it's not necessary. Like, okay, you look good, but that's it.
Right.
And we want the whole package. So
Right.
if you're not grateful, you're not polite, you're not timely,
Yeah.
we can't rely on you. And at the same time, we're taking the burden of managing those talents,
Right.
who might not even be exclusive to us, because we're not signing you 100%. You have to only work with us, right? Like sometimes you can work with other people too, but you need to be respectful and responsible.
Also, talent is
So-
one thing, and like work ethic is a completely different
yeah.
thing. And I really believe that hard work can be better than the talent, the actual talent. Obviously, the two of them combined is the best.
Yeah.
But that is hard to find, because sometimes people who are like gifted in whatever regard, they can be full of themselves and think that they don't need to do the work.
Yeah.
They actually just need to show up, and actually people are just lucky that they're just there.
Yeah. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Like it's just difficult to work with people like that sometimes. And you don't want that attitude on set. They're not friendly. They're like demanding. It's just not nice to have that around.
And also just like when you're in a position, which we probably often are at least here in Hong Kong, when you have a client, the clients are demanding because they want to get as much as possible out of the shoot. They're ambitious, and everyone is ambitious in their jobs. Everyone wants to deliver properly to their boss or to whatever. So if you have a talent that is not willing to do like some extra work or cram in a few extra shots or work an hour over or something, that can affect you. That can really come down to like you're not able to deliver as much as you could have in a position as a photographer, for instance.
Yeah, there's so many cases where it's a team effort, right? So
always.
you're relying on other people to perform as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why we pre-scout them. And then if they need our help for certain things, like we do organize shoots for them to get experience from and to be directed by other photographers. So it's not just me or Nicola telling them how to do things. Like they will also experience what it's like working with someone else.
Right.
And being in a different environment, which is what they need to be used to. But obviously, we know who they're going to a test shoot with. Like we know these people, so we can trust them and they're in a safe situation. So we make sure that the talents are safe and they're being treated fairly and they're being paid fairly. But we also try to make sure the clients are getting people who are respectful, responsible, nice to work with. The overall environment of the shoot will be nice. Not that you're booking just because that person looks good, but when they show up on set, you're like, oh my God, like, what is this attitude that, you have no choice but to deal with? Because,
Out of all these 8 things that you've dedicated most of your time to doing.
There might be more.
What is there one that you enjoy doing in particular more, or do you kind of just enjoy being able to?
No, I like all, because they all feed me in different ways.
Right.
Like for example, like if I'm taking the photos, there's only a certain amount of attention I can give in the shoot day. Like maybe beforehand I'm doing other stuff, but shooting wise, I'm like focused on one thing, right? And when I'm modeling, I'm focused on another thing. I'm not looking at the photographer's lighting and like judging them about how they set up stuff. And it's a whole different thing that you're thinking about. And because you're working on a different side of the screen. And then acting is different. So like each thing, and I learned a lot about video and constant lighting because I'm on set for acting, which I had never experienced before or bothered to learn before, because I felt like, oh, I'm using flash, it's fine. Because I was so used to that. But then experiencing what constant light can do is so different to the picture. So I only started trying that out actually after I started acting, because I saw how and everyone sets up light in a different way.
Yeah.
So then you're like, okay, this is interesting too. Maybe I can try that, but implement it in stills and see what that looks like. And yeah, so I feel like they all inspire me in a different way,
No, yeah, I totally get that. I totally get that.
So I don't want to sacrifice
I get
anything.
that.
Yeah.
So when you were starting out, you started out as a photographer more than...
No, I started out as... I studied design, but in terms of photography, I started out as a retoucher first.
Okay, so you...
But I need to pee first.
Go for it.
But then we're recording now.
That's fine. We'll
okay,
just
wait.
Take a break.
Intermission. This is a Hindi movie. They have intermission in between for like 10 minutes.
Oh, really?
Every movie, yeah.
Oh, really?
So you can go to the... It's great. It's genius. Like, that's why it's 3 hours. Hindi movies are 3 hours, right? So in the middle, they give you an intermission where you can go buy refill popcorn, like get snacks, go to the bathroom. It's
like in the movie.
In the movie.
It's not like literally just cut somewhere.
No,
it's just like...
No, it's cut in the movie. The movie is cut in half.
But there's an action of like cut, like let's...
No. It's suddenly just like you're watching and then suddenly it goes, ding, intermission. It's like, and you're like, oh shit. And then you go.
All right.
It's just midway. So intermission. Ding. Intermission.
We have to find this online. You have to send this to me online. We have to put it in.
Just it's just this random text that comes on that says intermission. That's literally it.
All right.
Midway, like you're like. Okay, intermission is over. Ding. Okay. You were about to ask me something, and then I had intermission.
Yeah, I forgot what was I about to ask you?
You said something, and then I forgot.
Was I asking you about? Yeah, we were about to get into like you started editing. You did not start photography. You started as an editor.
Yes. You started photography.
I didn't really. I just started assisting really. So I like.
But you must have had the interest from somewhere.
Yeah. I had the interest of just. I think like I had a very typical male entrance into the field. I was just really interested in the gear and the cameras. But my dad had given me like a camera when I was 7.
Okay.
And I just like I was into the camera itself.
So
and
your
I thought
dad was into photography?
Yeah, he was really into photography too.
Oh, my dad also.
Oh yeah. So he kind of also incentivized. No.
He would take my pictures.
Okay.
So as a baby, he was working for my grandfather. Like they worked together, and they had a kids wear company. And when I was born, I was instantly their kids wear model.
Okay.
So I guess that's.
So you were bred to be a model.
I think so. Yeah, actually, maybe because I had pictures of me like literally like shriveled in a corner, and I was just being forced, to model without pay or anything, and no usage fees, none of that discussed. It was just expected of me. And then as I grew up, my dad would always take photos of us everywhere, to the point where we're like, I can't be serious in a photo. Like if someone was to just take a casual photo of me, I wouldn't smile. I would make a stupid face or like something, because he wouldn't stop. Like he would follow us like paparazzi every time we go out anywhere, to the park or anything, with his camera. Yeah, so I think I grew up a lot around it. And my dad loved making videos of our family, editing the videos and photos. And at that time, I didn't appreciate it. But like now I get to look back and see all of those moments I wouldn't actually remember. So then, yeah. So when I got into photography, I didn't inherit any of my dad's cameras, because my dad was one of those who believed that point and shoot cameras equally as good as a DSLR. Okay, we would have a huge debate at some point in our lives. But back then he was like, it's useless to have, like, I can have it in this small of a frame in my pocket. Why do I need anything big?
He wouldn't have had a camera. He would have had a phone.
Yes, now, yeah. But then at that point he did have a DSLR when it first came out. He loves gear, so he would invest in everything. So he had a lens from Canon at some point. So when I bought my first Canon camera, he gave it to his friend. Like actually he was very good friends with one of his suppliers in China, and he gave the lens to that guy. And so he went back and got it from him. He's like, my daughter wants it, give it to me. So he got it back, because that guy wasn't using it anyways, and it had no stabilizer. It was it was like a 300 mm or something super zoom, yeah?
So it's like you have to have it on a tripod.
Yes. And I didn't have a tripod. And he was like, I could look down my window and see the full ass person crossing the street. Like it was full stalker level lens that I couldn't use in my actual life, but I had the lens.
That's an amazing lens also for that time.
Yes.
To have such a long lens. That's special. Okay. Yeah. Was he into birding or
No,
stalking?
I don't know us. So I don't know my eyeball that he wants to photograph. I don't know. Like, I don't know why he had that. It made no sense.
Do you have that lens still?
No. I couldn't use it. My hand was like this. I couldn't get a shot. And I was like, the lens is broken. And then my dad takes a picture and it's sharp. And I was like, okay. Yeah. So that was my first inherited gear. But you inherited, you said.
No. Just the interest. So my dad gave me like just a point and shoot camera when I was 7. And my dad and my mom, they're honest people. Like if they give me a compliment, they mean it. Mm-hmm. So I think like what kind of started off my journey was, I think we were on a holiday in Germany or something. I must have been just like 7 or 8. And I took a picture. And I remember like, when we got them developed, there was like a note from the developer, like this picture, like you should consider making it bigger. And my dad like paid me like a genuinely like a compliment, like.
So the developer was like, this kid has talent.
I don't think they realized necessarily that I had, like they just saw a picture like that's a good picture. You guys should like make it bigger. Mm-hmm. So I think like that was like the first, like, when you get complimented for something, Like, it has an effect
Yeah,
on you,
it
especially
sparks
when you're a
something.
kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that was my initial spark. But I never really looked at it as like as a viable option to do something for a living. I mean, I at the time, like, Iceland was what, 250,000 people. How can anyone make a living out of doing something so specific? So I never really looked at it as like a viable thing to make a living from. So it was always just like an extra thing for me. Always.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then after you got the camera and you started this interest, how did you start studying photography?
No, I was just taking pictures of my friends, just taking pictures of Lego builds that I
Okay.
had. I just used it basically on things that I was interested in.
Yeah.
Just, and whatever, just anything that I was doing, like what me and my friends were doing. I have pictures from my, like, what do you call it? Like the school between 6 and 12 years old.
High school?
Yeah, like I have pictures of my friends from that because I would take the camera to school and take pictures of us just
6 to
messing
12. No,
around.
primary school.
Yeah, primary school.
Yeah.
So like I think that kind of like was like the initial stage, and it just like one thing led to another with time.
And then did you ever study photography?
I ended up doing it. Yeah, I studied in Iceland first, what was available, which was just half a year, and I got a degree. And then I did the same degree in Denmark because I didn't feel like, I
You
still
didn't learn
have
enough.
still so much to learn.
I did the same thing with fashion. I did 2 degrees. I didn't feel
really?
like I learned enough, so I didn't. Except you're still in the field that you studied in, and I am not.
Well, I mean, you're in a related field. I'm sure it's not bad to know design.
No, it's not. It's just a lot of wasted money, but sure.
No, but I mean, everything like experience is really valuable. I'm sure you learned some stuff.
No, it does translate into what I do. But
There you go.
I didn't have to study 2 degrees for that.
And
because I self-learned everything that I did in both the degrees.
Right.
So they were absolute useless pieces of paper.
But you were alongside peers. You could see.
Nah. I'm sorry, like the peers. No, like
You're
okay,
peerless.
I had peers that didn't have the same motivation that I did. So it was just they were like dummies functioning in a in a cogwheel, like kind of pushing the wheel, and I was like out of the cogwheel trying to do like I'm not even trying to pat my own back, but it was only the only option was to self-learn, and if you don't self-learn, you don't get anywhere. So a lot of them don't even function in the industry at all. Like they just have random other jobs now because it's just strange. Anyways, if you study design in Hong Kong, it's like you're dumb and that's why you study design.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, because it's not valued culturally.
It's not valued. Yes.
Like you're a doctor or you're a lawyer or you're a piece
accountant or a business person or you're a piece. So if you fail in school, in high school, I went to a Band 1 high school here. So that means you're smart. Like you get good grades. Everybody gets good grades. And the goal is to get so good grades that you skip the 2 years of your high school to go straight into uni because you're so gifted.
Wow.
Like Band 1 schools are like known for like all the kids get really good grades already, but they are opting for the extreme.
Do you feel like you have your drive from that?
No. I think I always had it.
Okay.
Like I've had it since primary, but I was the only one who said I want to stop here. Like I didn't finish the following 2 years. I stopped at Form 5 and I thought I don't want to waste my time like doing math and stuff that I couldn't be bothered, like science and I don't care about it. I would like art and I knew that I liked art and I wanted to do something in this field. So on my weekends, I would be studying fine art. And then when I finished Form 5, I was like, why am I wasting my time? I want to study fashion. Like, I know that I want to do that. And the deputy principal of my school literally came on the day we got our report cards for the final exam, which, tells you if you go straight to uni or you continue the next 2 years or whatever.
Right.
I didn't get grades enough to go to uni straight away. My hair's like in my eyeball. I booked a haircut. It just, it's not yet.
Just not taking this
Yeah,
seriously
it's just
at all.
It's like in my eye. It's really frustrating, but okay. Anyways, so she sat me down and she was like, why are you wasting your life? Like you're not continuing in our school. You have good grades enough to continue the next 2 years. Like why are you throwing that all away?
How old were you when this conversation took place?
15.
That's really early to have that serious
but
conversation.
it's just a very straightforward thing. It's like you want to study art. And I was like, well, you don't have art as an option in Form 6 and Form 7. If I was to stay on with you, I don't have an option to even study art or be graded for art in my next exam, like the next big exam. Because we had the local exam at Form 5, and then you do 2 more years and you do A-levels. And then from A-levels, you go to uni.
Right.
And
yeah,
if you do so well in the local exam, you get full 30 points and you go to uni straight away. This is old. Now the system is new.
Okay.
I'm giving away my age here. But but then, yeah, so at Form 5, I was like, if I stay on with you, I'm not going to have art as an option anyways, because you've cut it off because you don't value it. And I know I want to do something in this field. So like, why not start early? Because if I start early, I'll get there faster.
So it's looked at as an advantage to be earlier or faster or having...
For me,
Right.
I thought that if I get a head start, at least I have more experience faster. And I know what I want already. I don't need to waste time bumming around until I then decide 2 years later what I want to study in uni. So I was like, I need to do it now. But for them, I chose to study design or art. So it was really looked down upon. And it was like, I'm wasting away, my grades.
And was that perspective coming from your teachers?
The deputy principal.
Oh, wow.
She sat me down and told me that.
Wow.
And I still told her, like, well, this is what I want. But it's the same, like, with my dad as well. He was not sure what I wanted to do with studying design. Like, he told me, like, are you sure you want to do this? And why do you want to do this? Like, if you're good at drawing at the end of the game, you're going to be sitting in Avenue of Stars, drawing people's faces for $10 a picture. Like, do you want that? How are you going to be financially free? Because my dad was a businessman.
Right.
And he didn't have sons. So for him, like, the logic of having sons was to instill business in them and let them continue the family business. Like, this is how all brand men logic is. Not all. If you're a brown man watching and you don't think that way, congratulations, you're out of the box. But
# brown man logic.
Yeah, it's just general brown man logic. Like, it's like, you must carry on my legacy by continuing my business. Having a son means my last name will carry on because you're not going to be lame and get married and take your husband's name, like, you're not wasted effort. So sons are better. But my dad didn't get a son. And so we became his sons. Like, in his head, he was like, you and your sister are going to learn, like, if you don't want to take over my business, fine. But you need to have the understanding of
business sense.
Yeah, you need to be financially free. Like, just because you're a woman, you get married. And at that time, I don't think I appreciated this mindset of his. Like, I didn't understand that his way was very harsh. So I didn't understand this is what he wanted. Like, I think looking back, I understand that he wanted us both to be financially free. So he put a lot of pressure on us to make sure that what we do has high yielding result.
And this was at the same time, like when you were 15 or so?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wanted to make a decision to quit my studies and do this. And so he was like, if you want to make this decision, are you sure this is going to give you this financial freedom? Are you able to make enough money to sustain yourself and your family? If you don't have a husband, like, if you end up marrying and not divorcing or whatever, like, you're going to have kids, you're going to have burdens. Are you going to be able to pay rent? You're going to do this. You're going to, like, can you do all of this?
Wow, that's hardcore at that a young age.
But
wow.
he felt like, you're going to make this decision, make it wisely. Like, don't waste your time, right? So I was sure that that's what I wanted to do. And then he was sure that I was wasting my time. And then I think the first year that I joined, I self-taught a lot of things because I didn't learn anything in school. So I joined the first competition, and when I won, like, I've never won an award in my life. In school, like, I never got a trophy, and I always wanted, like, I'm really competitive. So I wanted, like, I'll join sports day. I'm not sporty, so I never win anything. And then it sucks because everyone's got trophies and I don't have anything. No, not even a medal. Like, my sister has a medal from sports day. I don't have a medal, So I was like, what is this shit? Like, I don't win anything. So the first time I won the trophy, I won not just first place, like, I won full-on champion. And so I have pictures of, like, confetti falling off, and I was, like, wearing this weird outfit that I created, and I was super happy. And in my head, I felt like I was in the right path because I'm being rewarded. Like you said, you felt that spark. I felt that spark in design. Like, I felt like I'm in the right track, like art, creative stuff. My dad saw that. I think he realized, okay, well, there's something coming back to her. Like, after a year she spent into this and she was able to achieve this. So, like, it's a big deal. So, and then I continued, and then I felt like I didn't learn enough, just like you. I did a second degree, which was also garbage. But then, I self-taught a lot, and then I was doing... So after my first degree, I actually sat through a lot of graphic design classes because in the first school I was, they didn't care. Like, I just had to take attendance, and whether or not I sat in the class, it didn't matter. So a lot of students would take attendance and leave. And so I would take attendance and leave and go into the graphic designs class. And I would sit through, because that teacher was actually teaching. So I sat through their classes and I actually did their assignments. Like he would give me the same assignment he would give them, even though I wasn't part of their class. And so that's how I learned Photoshop.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
great. And you actually you worked for a photographer doing his editing for quite a bit of time.
So interestingly enough, I was his model to begin with. So another friend of mine randomly who does photography, and because I was making clothes, I would lend my clothes out. There was this website called Model Mayhem back in the day.
I remember that site.
Yeah,
I was on there.
You were there?
Yeah,
Yeah, so I was on there. And then I made a lot of industry friends or people who, like me, are studying and want to get, so I met a photographer friend who now is a very successful commercial photographer. But back then he was also like studying photography, and I was doing design. And so I lent my clothes to him for shoots, and I met a lot of other people. So I met this other random other person who is a much older photographer at the time. And for some reason we met and we connected, but we never actually worked together until he needed a model for something. And I had modeled for my other friends for fun. So he was like, oh, this is a paid job. Like it's a small pay, but it's I think you have a good look and stuff. Would you be interested? So I was like, sure. So I met the guy, did the shoot with him as his model. And then he said, oh, but I follow you on Facebook. And that Instagram never existed. Facebook it was new. Again, I'm giving away my age. But then, so I used to post a lot of my own editing stuff because I had my own jewelry brand that I was photographing for, because I couldn't afford to hire a photographer. Right. So I would take photos of and I learned editing. So I would take photos of the product and make some fun random. It's hideous now that I look back at it. But then, I put stupid effects in the pictures and stuff. Or I take pictures of myself wearing it and then edit something out, So he said, I saw that and I don't know how to use Photoshop, because he was older and it's harder for him to learn.
Film age, maybe?
Maybe. He was using flash and studio photography, like DSLR, but I think he just didn't know software. Like it was new.
He could tell that you had some tricks or some advantages.
Yeah, I think he liked what I was doing for my own pictures, and he was following me on Facebook. And so he approached me after saying, look, I can pay you per image. Could you help me edit the pictures? Because I don't know how to use this software.
That's awesome.
And so I was like, sure, yeah, I'd love to. And he said, just be creative. Like, I love your ideas, and like all the random effects that now that I look back were bad. He liked it. Like he was like, I want my photos to look like that. Can you help me?
You must have felt amazing.
Yeah. So that was another reason why I felt like I had no, I think with studying design, a lot of teachers that you get, you can't teach someone to be creative. No matter how much you think you're teaching someone, you can teach them skills and then let them apply it in their own way. And even when I teach people now, I literally apply that same logic, because I hated when someone told me what to do. Right. And I had some teachers in, one of the universities where, in my second degree especially, who loved like minimalistic Japanese style. And I loved implementing my culture and like putting embroidery. And for me, more is more. Like less is more, it doesn't apply to me. So, I would do things my way. And I didn't think I was doing something wrong, but she would make you feel like you're doing something wrong. And you would be graded less than everyone else because she didn't understand your vision.
So she's just enforcing her aesthetic on you and the students.
Exactly.
Right.
And so if you want to pass, sure, you need to produce stuff like that.
Just like she was a client.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. But as you're developing your own personal style,
right,
it's not the right way to teach someone, right? So each teacher I had their own aesthetic, and I became good at understanding, you like this, I'll give you this so you can give me a good grade.
Right.
And I can get that ugly piece of paper at the end of the day. But
that's super insightful that you had that perspective at the time, because probably most people would have taken it, that's the way it should be done.
Yes.
Like tick, okay, now I put this on the list. Yeah. From now on, I have a list to go by, and I should do this always like this.
But this was my second degree. So my first degree, I didn't learn I self-taught. And then I did a lot of self-study. So I understood there's different aesthetics. I learned all of that myself. So when I went into the second degree, I felt like I'm not doing something wrong, but it's very disheartening to hear from someone else that it's bad and I'll give you a low grade because you don't understand me.
Right.
Right. And you don't appreciate my aesthetic. So I just went through that second degree like a robot, producing that stuff. But on the side, I was doing what I like, because honestly, in my heart, I felt like really unhappy with doing design because of the second degree that I took. And it really put me off. But when I was doing photography, I didn't learn it. Like I didn't have, I didn't study retouching with a teacher that would tell me this is right, this is wrong. So I was able to do whatever, even now when I look back, it's ugly, but I was able to do something out of my own creativity.
Yeah.
And then with photography, it was the same. I refused to learn from someone. I refused to take classes because I felt like you're going to just put your shit on me. And I want to do it the hard way. I'm going to rent a studio and pay whatever money I make from retouching and like selling whatever crap jewelry I was selling at the time. Like, I'm going to rent studios with whatever money I had to practice myself with whatever friends or whatever I'm doing at that time. Like, just to learn, like, okay, I saw this picture. How did they get this lighting? I love this picture in the magazine, but I want to achieve that.
Right.
And then, yeah.
That's how I feel like in any industry, to copy great work or to copy something that you really admire or look up to, you learn so much by doing that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people maybe frown upon that or say like, that's not original. Like, people look down on it. But
It's
like
a
when
skill.
you're learning,
You're training the skill.
Exactly. You're breaking down how did they get down
like you
that
read
effect.
catch lights in the eyes. Like
Yes.
you learn to see where the shadows are coming from in the I'm still not perfect at it, but it's something I had to learn the hard way.
And this is important to do.
Yeah.
Like you need to learn to do that and do that early.
Yeah.
But some people are so like fixed on being original and being like a photographer before they're a student even,
Yes.
that they're just like they're fully overstepping and just they're not able to think on their feet.
Yeah. But I think you and I got into photography with very different mindsets. Like for me, it was purely the creativity. Like I never understood my gear.
Right.
I never knew how to use manual mode until like later on in life because I was editing the pictures if I didn't like how it looked.
Right.
I thought one of my cameras broken because the ISO was so high it was noisy. I literally got rid of the camera because I thought the camera was broken.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't. Now I know. That time I was like, it's broken. And I told my dad, I was like, it's broken. I don't know why it's doing this.
Right.
And, he was like, yeah, it's broken. I don't know. So
No, but honestly, I realized on the way, like I think we met and we are at the same spot now. Like I just came from a gear male perspective and you came from a pure, just like creative perspective. And now like, we're like, I'm aware that I should not be focusing too much on the gear. The gear it's not about the gear. I'm not using it. I'm not doing something for a specific lens or a specific light. It's just like, all of these things enable me to do all the important things.
Yeah,
but it took me a while to get there because
same.
I met a lot of people like you on my journey. And it just like, to me, when I was just focusing on the gear, it felt unfair. Like, hey, I should be able to get this. I understand my camera and my gear way better than this person. How come they're just kind of accidentally landing the picture somehow. They're just randomly doing stuff.
Yeah.
But then with perspective and with like a little deeper understanding, you get that like it's all about play. It's all about just throwing the dice and just trying to achieve some vision or look.
But it's both ways.
Yes.
Because when I didn't understand, if you asked me this 10 years ago, maybe 10, 10 years ago. No, yeah, okay, 10 years ago. I would have told you retouching can fix anything. I don't need to understand. I can shoot on auto mode on my camera and I can edit it. It'll look perfect. I would have said that to you at that point. And then over experience and time, I realized like, okay, sure, understanding the gear is one thing. Investing in your gear is another thing because there is certain things that you do need the gear for, like picture quality. If someone blows up a picture, no matter how nice your photo is, they can't physically do that if your camera is not up to quality. If you don't understand the gear at all, like you have no control over the light. So you're kind of just like, sure, you're coming up with creative ways to deal with whatever you're getting out of the light. But if something's not working to your advantage, you're going to create crap.
Right.
Like maybe one picture out of 20 is going to be good. Whereas if you know how to control it, you'll get 20 out of 20.
Right. Yeah. And because like you have in mind a certain effect. You want like, I want this look. And because of your experience and because
you
of
can make
everything,
that happen.
you understand how you can get that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think you need both.
Yes.
And I think I didn't put like effort in understanding that until a bit later. Like I wanted to do studio photography. I like the look of studio photography. So I put effort in renting the studio, like I said before. But it took me a long time to like understand how to control it and then understand my camera because, okay, the light is doing something, but what about my camera settings? That affects how it looks too. And I didn't understand that either. So which is why I thought my camera was broken at some point. Yeah, but it's true. It did happen to me, and I did get rid of that camera, and I upgraded. But then, because I thought my camera was busted.
It's so funny, and I think, like you said, like you need both. I remember having like looking up to a couple of photographers, particularly when I was starting out, and their styles were like completely stark different. One of them had so little understanding or interest in his gear that he would put tape in a certain color around a certain lens, and he would say just to the assistant, "Hey, can I have the pink lens?" He didn't even know what like anything about it. It was just like he remembered that color of that lens has this effect.
Yeah.
And that was such an eye-opening thing for me, because I didn't know that insight.
I should do that.
Until after. No. But like, you know.
Pink, you had me at pink.
I remember walking through some mall with you, and you found like a matte pink cat.
I asked Freddie to buy that for me.
Yeah, did he?
No, not yet.
Was it really expensive? Did we see the price?
No, we didn't. Because there was no shopkeeper.
Right. Oh, that's right. That's right. We just walked past.
Yeah.
We're doing something else. We're doing Recce for a shoot.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, pink everything.
Yeah.
That's your aesthetic.
That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I think it's equally important both ways. And yeah, you're actually right. Like we came from two different starts, and then we've come to a point where we kind of understand the value of both.
Yes.
And yeah, I think it makes a huge difference in the final result of the work.
It helps to know the equipment and have full demand of the equipment and the techniques, but it doesn't really help you to be creative. It really helps to be creative and have all the ideas and stuff, but if you don't know the equipment, you have a hard time getting there. So
you need both.
You need a balance of both of those things.
Yeah, and I feel like when I met you, you know, like the first time I saw your work was from that shoot with Krishna and Anya.
Yeah, I remember.
And yeah, and I remember like Anya was from our agency. We sent her for that job, and I recommended Krishna for the makeup. And I was looking for someone to help with video. And Krishna was like, "Do you know that guy at that video shoot is a really nice person, and his work was really nice. You should ask Audrey to send you a screenshot." And I was like, okay. So I asked Audrey, and I was like, do you mind? Like, I don't know if it's out yet or anything. She said, well, I have the stills. I can show you the stills. I don't have the whole video yet. And then I remember seeing two stills. One was Anya sitting on the bedside. Like there's some situation where she was on the side of the bed with the lamp.
Yeah, there's a speaker. Yeah,
okay,
there's a speaker. Yeah.
Yeah, so I saw that still, and I saw one more still. Her and the daughter, Maya.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
And something outdoor. They were like, there's some
they're running
lens
around
flare.
at night.
There's some nice, pretty little lens flare happening there, and I saw like that still. And then I was like, can I have his number? I didn't see the video.
Oh, that's it. I never heard the full story.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how funny how things work out that way.
And then I remember calling you, and I told you, okay, I explained the situation of like what I was going through and why I needed someone to help me. And then I said initially there was a budget that was quoted.
Right.
Prior to me talking to you. And you told me your rate. And I was like, okay, well, it's like half of your rate that was originally quoted. And then you were like, I really want to do this project. We hadn't even met.
No.
We didn't meet. We just chatted on the phone for a bit. And you're like, I want to do this project. And I'm happy to come. Like, I'll do this time just so we have a chance to work together. And then this particular client had told me so many times that this, like every time we did a video shoot in the past for them, they're like, we'll put it on Times Square. We'll put it on It never went up there. Never once.
I remember you telling me that in the shoot because
Yes.
I felt like...
Because they did mention it to us there as well.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then you like told me like, don't get your hopes too much up there.
Yeah,
I'm like,
they say it all
okay.
the time.
Okay.
Yeah. And then they actually put it out there. The one shoot that we did together.
That was amazing.
I mean, I felt like, that's
but
one thing.
But you produced all of that.
Okay,
the lighting and everything.
Minus all of that. I'm just saying, like, I produced all the other videos that we did together. It's not about my production. You know what I mean? I produced all the past videos.
It's all of the things aligned together.
Yeah.
Same time.
Yes.
All of it, like, it needed all of the elements.
Yeah, and I think it needs two people who are willing to work together. Like, It's not like I just tell you what to do and then you do it. It's also like your input to how you see that moment, or like, okay, this is the concept,
Right.
but then you need the freedom to produce and shoot it the way you see fit,
Right.
because you're the one who's, you know, the final edit, you know how it's gonna look like together,
Right.
and I don't know that.
And you took a risk by having an external person coming into your studio, your situation.
It's not a risk
with
because I
your
saw your
client.
stills. I saw your stills.
No, but I mean, you know how people can be. It's a very, very competitive field. And a lot of people can do questionable things. They try to snatch a client, or
Yeah,
they
it
try to
happens
do
a lot.
this or
Yeah.
that. Right.
Here especially, like I feel like people do that a
So
lot.
you took a risk. You did take a risk, and I saw it for that. So I make a point. I always try to like make sure that like there is trust, because like you cannot do great work without it.
Yeah.
Because like if you're like defensive and you're like, you know, holding back, or you can't really, we're not helping each other, then how are we gonna work together if we're meant to work together?
Yeah.
If there's like egos or some politics or some stuff happening
And
in
then
the
if there's a
background.
problem on spot, like I feel like it helps when two people think together.
Yes.
Like what you can do in your end, what I can do in mine, let's
Yes.
fix it on spot. Like whatever, things happen, right?
And we're
So-
not getting in
Yeah.
each other's ways. We're not
Yeah.
competing. There's no egos. We're like just literally trying to do a good piece of work together.
Yeah. And I really like the video. Like till now, today, when I look back at the photos and the video, I feel like I'm really happy with how it turned out.
Same.
I have no like complaints about, oh, I could have done this better, I could have done that better. Like I feel like it went as best as it possibly could.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why we worked together so many times
Yeah.
after that
Because it
time.
works well together.
Yes.
Yeah. So I like our collaborations. And every time we do something, like I feel like you have your own aesthetic. Like whatever experiences you've had in your life has led to you developing the style that you produce. Like I don't think someone can just look at your work and like copy it.
No, I mean it's the same for you. Like it's the same for anyone, right? We're all kind of amalgamation
Someone
of like,
did try to copy my work
really
recently.
When-
I
how-
told you, I think.
what
from
was the situation?
Some jewelry show.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they used your pictures as a reference.
Yeah. Like direct copy paste.
Like, you know, can you make this?
Yeah.
Like exactly this.
Exactly this. Same pose, same.
And
It didn't look like.
why wouldn't they just hire you?
They didn't ask me for a quote. So it wasn't even like an option on the table and then they chose to go against it. It was like they just didn't bother asking.
I don't
Maybe they have
understand the
in-house.
logic.
Maybe they have someone in-house. So it could be very well that case, right? Like, I don't know. I
that
don't
could have
know
been
what.
the case.
Yeah,
But it's really disappointing.
it is. Yeah.
But
But the
ho-
copy didn't look like my work. So that's fine. Like when I look at it, I'm like, fine. At least it didn't look like, I didn't look at it and be like, that looks so familiar. It's bothering me. Like I looked at it and I'm like, okay. But I didn't think of it until I was told the story.
It's really a compliment, but a shitty behavior.
Yeah. It's a shitty compliment.
I mean, it's a compliment that they're using your work as a reference. Like, this is what we want to achieve.
Well, yeah,
This is
I
we-
used
which
to
is what
use
we
very
want.
big photographers as references for my work too. So
There you go.
I'm one of those now. Yes.
I feel for me, it's sometimes with time and more experience, it's easier for me to become more and more cynical. But I realize that I have to be like almost hopelessly and blindly optimistic to do a good piece of work.
But you're so optimistic, you rub that on me a little.
Oh, okay, that's a good thing.
Yeah,
that's a really
because
good thing.
sometimes like I remember talking to you about certain things and I'm like, but why is this client doing this? Or why? Like we'd share a lot of experiences, right? And then you told me, but look at it this way. And then you'd explain something to me. And now I forget the exact situation. And then now when something like that happens, I'm like, what would EG do? Like he would be very calm about this. He would not get angry. He will not yell at the client. He will be well behaved and he would do this. And I'm like, okay. And then, yeah, I behave better then.
That's not, I'm happy that I'm having a positive effect on it. But I hope it doesn't rub off you too much, because I also do have a client that hasn't paid me for over a year.
Yeah.
And I think like
what would Aanchal do? She would go to the office and be like, if you don't pay me now,
Like-
I'm not leaving.
look, I have a bed with me here. I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
I'm not
I
literally
will
not leaving.
park my ass on the chair and I will not leave this office until you give me a check.
Like, this has never happened to me before. I don't have the tools. I don't have the experience to deal
I'll
with this,
tell you
because
what to do.
I've never ever been not
I'll come
paid.
with you. Fuck that.
No, but I mean, to me, it's just they are shooting themselves in the foot, because I will not be working with them, and they will be devoid of my skills and my talents. So if they want to shut the door on themselves, then ultimately they will lose out. But then at the same time, out of principle, I still want that money. It's not a huge amount, but I still want that money.
But you deserve it because you worked for it. It's not like you're not giving people free work just because they refuse to pay you.
And also just I take pride in the fact that I've always gotten paid for my work.
Yeah.
And I've always told my story. There's a reason for that, because like all of the projects, I never really seek projects. They kind of just organically somehow find me. And I've always taken a pride in the fact that I've always gotten paid for my work. And I think it's just it's really just really sad that this is happening. And I still have hope that this is going to get resolved. I still have hope. And what I was about to talk about with that, like blind faith and being so like hopelessly positive, I think you need a certain degree of that, because when you go into a project, you have to think big and you have to think in options and you have to see solutions and beauty in everything. That's part of creativity, right?
Yeah.
But if you lose that, it's really difficult to do.
But I think that's what we do our projects
Yes.
based on. Like we plan stuff, but a lot of times these things don't happen. And then you kind of have to think, how do we solve this problem?
Yeah, because there's like restriction and the frame tightens and like, no, we can't do that because of that. But we always start like very enthusiastically and excited.
Yeah.
And I think we're both like very much on that channel. Like we see like solutions and it's fun, it's playful. You throw out an idea, I throw out an idea.
Yeah, I remember when we were doing that shoot with the handbags, and then there was suddenly a problem like with some of the way this thing was styled or the lighting or the angle, something had happened. And then basically one group of the clients were panicking about that on the side, and you were busy shooting something else. And then when they asked me about it, I was like, okay, well, let's do this. And then we just put up the set and we sorted it out.
Yes.
And they really love those photos.
Yes.
I really love those photos.
Yes.
So I was like, wow, like honestly, we just turn off all our like initial ideas of what we came in thinking it's going to be. And we're like, okay, we have this. How to make it work. And because you're already shooting something else and we were like on a time crunch that we had to rely on each other to produce something separately to do it together. You know what I mean?
It's it was a pressured situation because like you said, like they had such an ambitious plan of how much they wanted to get it done.
Yeah.
And to be able to be like a solution oriented and not afraid and open in that setting, that's not easy to do. And I feel like we both have that ability. That's a really good thing to have.
Yeah.
But do you feel like, the more projects you've done, the more you've worked, do you feel like, because I feel that, I'm not sure if you do you feel like you get more cynical with time and experience, or are you still very like optimistic and open?
I think it depends on how much the client's freedom is given to me. I think I'm, for the most part, very optimistic for every project regardless. I'm very excited to shoot it and I look forward to shooting it. And I feel like maybe that's just my personality because I like doing creative things. And I don't like putting myself in a very rigid situation where, let's say I have an exact shot list and I need to shoot this, the way it's shot. Like sometimes I have a shot list and I have 10 pictures and these are how the style of the 10 are going to be. This is the vibe I'm going to go for. I draw it out. But if it doesn't work with the actual product on the day, I need to think on spot. Like I'm not going to get stuck thinking and hate the job or something because I couldn't execute it. Like sometimes the clients are hard to deal with. That might make me annoyed just at the get-go.
Right.
But sometimes the day of the shoot, because sometimes you have difficult clients, but on the day of the shoot, everything's actually really good. Yeah. So you don't know how things are going to go. So I just try not to think about it.
No, that's a good approach to it. You just because it's very easy to overthink things. You're just trying to get a job done and try to do it as well as possible.
Yeah. But I think earlier you said something, you've never not been paid for a job you've done.
Yeah.
I've not been paid for a job I've done when I started out many times.
But
so I think maybe our approach to clients are a little different because of this.
That's very possible. Yes. And I think you have a more healthy approach to it. I think I am too patient.
I don't have trust sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes I don't trust people. So because I've experienced people not paying.
Right.
So, I sometimes can be a little pushy when it comes to certain things. Like, okay, I don't think I'm being pushy, but when it crosses a boundary, I feel like you've crossed this boundary. Now I'm going to sit on your head about it.
Right.
Because I don't trust you anymore.
Right.
But I lose that trust very quickly because I've been in that situation before.
It's like a red flag. You
Yeah.
have like a, like, oh, this is a pattern.
Yeah.
I've seen
I've
this
seen
before.
before. And then
Right.
I panic, and then I'm like, okay, this is definitely happening. This is
Right.
what they're doing. But oftentimes it's not. Some people are just so shit at paying people. Like, I don't understand why. When you need the service and everything's urgent, you need that and it happens for you. But then
Right.
when it comes time to pay someone for their job, you will not do that
Right.
in a timely manner because now you've gotten everything you needed.
But the thing is, this is short-term thinking, I think, a lot of the times, because they're just thinking maybe about like getting through this day, getting through this week, getting through this month. They're not thinking on a longer timeline. But at the end of the day, if they take these shortcuts and do these things, no one will want to be hired by them.
Yeah.
Because this word goes out. We talk to each other. People in our industry, like there are rumors, and there are client stories.
Yeah.
So it's actually very, very short-sighted when clients treat either models or photographers or graphic designers, any just freelancers poorly, because it's word gets around.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I remember the first ever job that I had as a photographer, which I didn't get paid fully for, was like a street style snap thing. Because I was studying fashion at the time, and that time blogs were a really big deal, like fashion blogs that people would go on websites and read about the trends and see what people are wearing. And so they wanted to start a whole blog about street style in Hong Kong. And so they hired me to take pictures of, like, they just wanted me to give out their name cards as like, you're going to see the photo here, and then let me choose who I want to take photos of, because I have a design background and I study fashion.
Right.
So they're like, you have the ability to make a choice of whether they're fashionable or not. Ask them all these questions and then take a photo of them. And then, we'll publish it on the site. And we had agreed to like a certain amount of money I was 17 at the time. And so I did the job. Like the first day, the lady was with me to show me like, okay, how do I give the card? Like, so I was a bit nervous to like approach people on the street randomly. I'm not anymore, but I was. So she like was with me for a bit, like an hour or so, and then I was on my own after, and I got all the pictures I needed and I got all the information I needed. Went back to the office. They're like, good, we'll see you tomorrow. Did it again the next day. Gave all the photos. Actually, no, I gave half the photos.
Okay.
Because I was editing the photos, right? And my dad's a businessman. So I consulted my dad. What is an invoice? What's a receipt? I didn't know the difference. So I was like, he said, send this first, send that, whatever. And then he said, look, you got paid half the money. He said, ask for a deposit. My dad told me.
Smart.
So I asked for a deposit. I got the deposit. It was like 750 Hong Kong dollars. I remember specifically. No, the full fee was $750.
Oh, so you got half of that.
So I got 300 something, $25 or whatever.
Right.
And I did 2 days of work, edited the photos, sent half over because my dad told me to. And he said, when you get the other half, like, these are the only assets you have. He was like, explain to me, these are the only assets you have in your hand.
Right.
Are the photos. You don't give everything. You've given half, like, wait. So I was like, okay, but will they get upset with me? Blah, blah, blah. But he said, do this. So I did it. I sent them half. I said, are these okay? Is this the vibe you're going for? This is from the first day, half, right? And then she replies me saying, oh, these are great. We love them. Looking forward to the other half. And then she goes, by the way, we were thinking maybe we'll just not pay you the other half and we'll put your name as credits on the site instead. So I was like, I mean, a credit would be appreciated, but I don't need it if you're not going to pay me. I'd rather you pay me so I can invest in my gear or whatever I'm using the money for. So we've agreed to like 750 for 2 days of work and a shit ton of editing. I'm expecting that. So I got really upset. And then obviously I drafted the email with my dad because he says, be diplomatic, be like, he was trying to teach me these things. So, and I get scared when I get confronted like that. Like I felt like they're much older to me. I'm a kid. So I still felt like I wasn't responsible enough to make these emails by myself in a way that wouldn't offend someone because I might just be really harsh and unprofessional. I don't know. So he would help me. And then he told me what to say. I said it. And the end of the day, she never paid me the other half. And I never sent her the other half of photos, even though I finished it.
Okay, so really, you didn't. You just delivered half and you got paid for that half.
Yeah, but I worked and I did edit the others. And I did work those 2 days, but I got paid for 1 day and sent half the photos.
I see what you mean.
And they did put it up on their website.
Okay. Does this company exist still? No. There you go.
Well, blogging is sort of dead now. But yeah, it was really upsetting, And then I was really thrown off by like how the client behaved after we've made an agreement. Although we didn't have a contract because I didn't know how to draft one. But like, It was just this whole stuff. And then I remember there's another incident where I wasn't paid either. And like it just throws me off when clients are delaying stuff now, like, because I feel like, oh, this is going to happen again. We've had, even with our model agency, like we had a client who's having a production overseas, and they wanted to pay, they wanted the same terms that models get here, where you finish the job, then you get paid.
Right.
And they wanted the same terms, but me and Nick were thinking, like, how are we going to chase the client for money when they're not even in town? You want me to take a plane, and like the contract I signed doesn't apply because it's for Hong Kong law.
Right.
Like, so it's tricky.
Right.
And so I insisted, like they wanted to book 5 talents, and to the very end, last day, they were not willing to pay. And they said at one point, I was like, you need to pay all of the money up front, or we're not going to send you any of the talents. Like, we're just going to cancel the job, because I'd rather cancel it with the models and let them know that there was a risk of them not getting paid at all than doing the job. And then we're responsible to pay. And there was 5 talents, and the pay is really high. So it's a lot of money on our part that we have to take out once someone does the job.
Yeah.
So it was a big chunk of money, but for us, there was also a good amount of, like, a good job we wanted to share in our portfolio, and we really wanted this project.
Yeah.
But we put our foot down after discussing together, and to the point where to the very end, like I think we got paid on the day before the shoot day. So we were holding off till that moment, but we had, like, they swifted to us, but then it takes days for it to come through.
Right.
So yeah, it's like very tricky scenario where you need to know when to say no. Like I've read somewhere you need to fire your client. Sometimes if you have a bad client, you need to fire them.
Yes.
And we were prepared to do that because we didn't want to be in a situation that would cost us.
Even though it's like something really cool to put in the portfolio and on the client list, and the money is good, and you potentially have like, regular
and
thing
5
going.
models would have gotten paid, like would have had a job, through us. Like, it would be nice for them too. So
yeah. But then at the same time, you're responsible for them. And if you need to pay the models, and then if the client decides not to pay, you're out a whole bunch of money.
Yeah.
And you're liable to the models.
Exactly. And it's not like I'm going to go back to them and say, sorry, we didn't get paid, so you're not going to get paid, because I've been there and I don't trust the agent when they tell me that.
Right.
I don't know what the truth is, but I'm not going to trust them.
Right.
And they're also our assets, right? To have those models, and they're good models. They're great at their job.
Yeah.
So it would mean that we would have to pay them.
And also like your reputation as a modeling agency.
Yes.
And that trust is really, really important, because sometimes you have situations where things need to happen quick or something. And like if you have faith in the client, if you have faith in the situation, they will trust your judgment.
Yeah.
And you've built up a relationship. So things are possible because of you have a good history. You have built up that trust.
Yeah. And I think it's really important. We really value that.
Yeah.
Like when the talents trust us. Like if we really do we've had instances where, we've had last minute things and then the client cancels and it doesn't happen. And they've booked into their schedules too. And so they lost out on a job and potential other jobs because now they don't have this one as well. But when the reality is we go back to them and explain the situation, they trust us because they know we do the same thing for a living too.
Right.
And we've been in their shoes, and they know we're not going to mess around with them because they know we put our foot down when we need to.
Yeah.
So when something does happen, they do support us in that way too. So I didn't want to let anyone down. And so there's many cases where we've been in this sort of weird situation with the clients. But I feel like there's certain things you need to say no to. Like, have you said no to any client for some like a red flag or something, and you're like, what,
It's mostly just like if I don't need the money, or most of all, if the project just doesn't cater to my skill set, or if like it's close to another job, or if it's like the circumstances are such that I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to like do it properly, then I will not. Or if I can't do the job, I always try to like
find someone else to help them.
Because like the client comes to me, and I want to be able to, instead of just saying a dry no, to try to give them a solution or help them out. And at the same time, like maybe help a friend or someone that's like can benefit from the job that is in a position to do the job better than me, or has the time or the circumstances. How about you? How do you approach this?
If a client comes to me with the project I can't take on, either I say no if I really don't know someone else, and I apologize for this thing, but many times they do ask me for event photos, for example, or family portraits. I know quite a few family photographers now, so I will say, why don't you check out this person or this person or this person? And I'll give them their Instagrams, and I'll be like, message these people. Like they're in the, you know, right field of photography that you're looking for. Events, I haven't found someone that I can rely on for event photography yet. So I wouldn't recommend off of just the heck of recommending. I would just say I don't do events. Like, I'm sorry, but yeah.
Yeah, I tend to not do events either because, like, you know, if you're looking to develop yourself and trying to attract certain kinds of projects, you need to do like more of those types of projects and have more of those types of references. And just I'm a very introverted person, so events are kind of, to be honest, a little nightmarish.
Yeah, me too.
Scenario for me.
Yeah.
So I just have my personality type has just a hard time with it. It's just a lot of overload. So I tend also not to do too much of events just because it just.
And I feel like it's a different skill set.
Yeah.
Entirely.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like when people think of photography or videos, they just think you can do anything. Like, you just press the button on your camera and whatever you record, you're recording. Like, it doesn't require any other skill set aside from knowing your camera, and that's it. So I still get messages asking me, okay, we have this event. Would you be willing to shoot my kid's birthday party? And I'm like, I don't do that. Like, I only do commercials. Like, I'm very open about it. I do portraits, corporate portraits, but like even family portraits, I don't like doing.
Right.
Because I feel like I can't guide them properly as well because they're not models, and I prefer working with people who know how to move their body because I'm used to that and I enjoy that.
And it's not just about the money.
Yeah, no, because I could do the family portrait, but I don't like I don't like just going to the park and taking pictures of people.
Right.
Like, I want to do it. I like fashion stuff, so if I'm going to do it, I want to do it in that vibe, or like just something that I feel like I perform better in.
Right.
And if I don't enjoy it, it's going to be ugly. So
I think that's a very key point too. Like, you know, it's really hard to be good at something if you don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's literally really impossible. You can make yourself do it, but you can probably do it an okay job, but you can never do something great
because your heart is not into it.
Yes.
Yeah, and so I don't want to just do it because it's money.
No.
That's what I always have, this dilemma about, like, some projects that come across and I'm like, okay, well, I can do it, but do I do it? Because I need to pay my bills, you know what I mean? Like, I'm an adult now.
Debatable.
I have to fund my turtles' salmon addiction.
So turtles. We're starting and ending on turtles. So she's into salmon. That's specifically her treat.
Salmon, papaya, anything orange. Orange is her favorite color.
Okay.
We've established this. She likes, this is in my face again. She likes orange. So salmon, which she's not allowed to have because the oils in salmon deposit over her eyes.
Oh no!
And it comes out in a poop, and there's a film of oil on the water.
Oh, that's not good. Okay.
Yeah, and then basically her eyes become foggy.
Okay.
Which we didn't know. We used to give her salmon because she loves it. Shrimp, she loves shrimp. She likes papaya. That's the only vegetable/fruit criteria category that she will consume.
Okay.
Any leafy greens she's supposed to eat, she will not eat. Anything. We've tricked her with carrot. Nope. She'll bite it, spit it out.
So she was like tempted by the color.
Yes.
But like then like when the taste is just reject.
Yeah, she'll half bite it, chucked out. We've tried taking leafy greens, squishing it into a shrimp. Like, we'll cut the shrimp, stuff it in there, and she eats because she's so, like, she sees the shrimp, she smells it, she wants to eat it to the point where she won't wait till it's in the water. She'll come out and try to grab it from you.
Oh wow.
We use that to our advantage. So we put it, like, stuff it and then dump it into her mouth right away. And then when she goes in the water, she'll chew it because she needs water to swallow.
Right.
But the second the chewing begins, the shrimp goes down. The green, she manages to separate it in her mouth and it's out.
Okay.
I don't know how, because they don't have teeth. You know, it's one beak.
She
but
somehow can separate it.
She will. She'll spit it out. I don't know how she does it. And the leaf is out and the shrimp is in. So shrimp and rice. She likes rice for some reason.
So babe 1, you guys 0.
Yeah. Full on. Like, I've tried so many different tricks with her. Nope.
I think
But rice is not orange, so I don't know. She's
okay. So she likes rice.
She likes rice, yeah. Strange, but you don't get rice in the wild, like cooked rice in the wild.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
but she enjoys rice, like cooked rice. She's Chinese, her history. So she's from China,
It's
like
in
her
the
species.
genes.
Yes.
It's in the genes.
It's in the water, I think.
Yeah.
When they breed them, they have something to, like, maybe rice fell into the water. I don't know how it works, but
Something
to the rice and papaya.
I think this is literally the perfect point to conclude
end.
the podcast on.
Yeah.
We start and end with turtles.
Turtle strong. All pain, all gain.
All right, Aanchal, I really enjoyed the conversation. Thanks a
Thanks
lot.
for
Thanks so
having
much
me.
for coming all the way over.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to put this together into one like decent thing, but
That's fine.
there's 20 different episodes just for...
you carry the conversation. That's easy.
Okay, thanks. Hopefully you're not asleep for after you watched this or heard this. Wakey. It's finished now. Some people sleep to podcasts. Like they just want to hear some people talking in the back.
I get that. It's just like company.
I could have a job just doing that. Like just
talking people to sleep.
Yeah, just talking absolute garbage, rubbish topics, like over just non-stop. Like,
hey, why don't you start a podcast like that? I'll be happy
What is the title?
I'll be happy to try it. Sleep talk.
Sleep talk. Yeah, sleep talk. There you go. Done. Sleep talk. And I just sit there yammering like, oh, it could be a live video. Like, hi, thanks for coming on. Okay, you all may begin. Like, tuck yourselves in. And then I just start.
Hey, you need to prove the concept.
Okay.
Why don't you give it a shot?
I will.
Try it?
Not now, but
At some point.
yeah, at some point.
Cool.
I'll just sit in my room talking to people in the middle of the night. And then with like lullaby music going on at the back.
I'm sure you would have some degree of success.
I'll actually become viral for this
The sleep talk lady.
Yeah, strange individual who just talks garbage. Like facts about turtles and birds. And then when they wake up, they feel like they're extra knowledgeable because, some people like...
You learn in your sleep.
Yes.
Yeah, all of a sudden they have all this inside information about
suddenly turtle and bird sales go up because they've suddenly had an interest in it. They don't know where it came from.
Just the environmental agencies.
And then I can get sponsored. Listen, business idea #Sindhi happening now. I can get sponsored by companies who want to like mind fuck people into buying their product. So while everyone's asleep, like after a certain hour of talking, I sneak in. There you go.
Beautiful. Love the
Buy
concept.
so-and-so product, medicine, consume. It's good for your health. Buy, drink water. But waters are enough. Drink the vitamin C mixed flavored waters from so-and-so brand.
There you go.
Hire EG for videos.
And Aanchal
And
for
photos
pictures.
also. Like, yeah, you hire both of us because you should.
Otherwise, you have questionable taste.
Yeah. No, but not for events. We don't do events.
Caveat.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Events you can go to someone else, but we will not recommend anyone through the sponsorship because they've not sponsored it. But we've sponsored ourselves.
Look, if you're looking for a sponsorship,
Why are we
if you do
whispering?
events, this is ASMR.
Whispering.
This is ASMR.
Yeah. Wait.
You have like the. We're missing out.
Yeah. Then oh shit, yeah, I'll do it again. I was gonna choke just like because I'm so conscious of it now. Hire us for photos and videos. Commercials only. High budget. More money is better. If you have low budget, don't bother. We are willing to fly globally.
Only on full rate though.
But we charge extra for traveling overseas, and we travel only first class, and we live in suites.
She likes salmon.
No,
There
my
needs to be
turtle likes
salmon.
salmon.
I thought you liked salmon.
I'm okay with it. Sushi specifically. So if we've flown to Japan for a job, I'm happy to eat sushi.
Perfect. Podcast concluded.
The end.
Beautiful.
Mind fucking concluded.